That's what I'm talking about. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, Arvanauts, and welcome everyone else to the series premiere, ladies and gentlemen, of Assignment Unpossible. It is a Friday night stream. It is July 20th, 2018. I hope everyone is doing well and is looking forward to what is shortly to come, which is Assignment Unpossible. I will undo that black screen and I will show you my smiling face in just a moment. Before I do that, though, I do want to remind everybody about ways to support the stream if you haven't done so already. Please consider following this channel. That is one of the best things, of course, that you can do. Please make sure to check out the YouTube, which has past broadcasts of this particular series, and I'll talk more this particular stream, and I'll talk more about where you can find that stuff on !ArvTube. !ArvCord will get you over to my Discord channel, which is always a place that's happening and fun. !ArvCord will get you over to that. !ArvShop will allow you to check out the merchandise, which is going to be starting with the Infinity and Beyond group, which basically does straight D&D. They will be back tomorrow playing Curse of Strahd, but we're going to be expanding that to other things, including Assignment Unpossible and Genesis, our space opera series as well. So that's going to be down the line. You can get cool stuff over there. !ArvShop for that. !Arv tweets, and in specific, !tweet would be helpful. Please retweet this stream. For those of you who have already done so, thank you, but please retweet it. If you hit !tweet, that will allow you to head over and actually tweet out the stream to all and sundry. !CTT will allow you to do the same thing. So both of those things would be very helpful to the channel. And then I mentioned already the shop. The other thing, of course, is the Patreon, !ArvTreon, ARVTREON, which allows you to support the channel and allows you to get some cool stuff for yourself, including the ability to inspire some of my players in the many campaigns we do every month here, including a possible critique of your writing, depending on how high you support the Patreon, including the ability to get a copy of one of my band's first couple of albums, including an epic character background or an epic poem written about you, etc., etc. So there's many things that you can do there. Plus, of course, the channel itself gets benefits too. So please consider supporting that. And last but certainly not least, of course, the sub button, which is right above the sub window as we continue to move onward and upward there. So you can use that Arvany hype, the gold hype, and you'll be able to use the custom sub badges as these things are going along as well. Now, with that said, let me get rid of this and let me get rid of that and let me turn on that. There we go. Hello, everyone. Good to see you all. I hope everyone is doing well. Welcome to the Assignment Unpossible series premiere, and I am very excited about this. Before I introduce you to the wonderful players, I do want to mention a little bit about this system, and I'll talk more about that, of course, when I bring them on. This originally was a one-off that we did as part of ArvCon. It was a special event that I had conceived of using a system by a very good designer known as John Wick called Wilderness of Mirrors, and I had the chance to take a look at this system. I thought it was awesome, and so I wanted to give it a shot. And so I did actually give it a try. And it went so well and was so fun and was so much like, 60s spy action that I was like, guys, can we make this a series maybe? And pretty much almost all of them, with one exception, an enthusiastic yes. The last person would have been an enthusiastic yes, but was just so overwhelmed with scheduling they couldn't make it happen. But everybody else is back, and we have a new person who's been added into the mix. And so this is the series premiere of Assignment Unpossible. Once per month, we will be back here engaged in various missions, various cloak and dagger spy types of things set in the late 1960s. As I was saying with them before the show started, it is back in the 1960s, but all that is old is new again. So if any of this, as you're listening it to tonight, sounds an awful lot like what we're going through right now in 2018, welcome to the cycle of history and our inability to get away from that cycle sometimes. But anyway, so any references to persons living or dead is entirely coincidental. But I am very much looking forward to this wonderful crew. And so with all that said, I'm going to, as I usually do, unmute myself first so that they know we are ready to go. And then I'm going to unmute them. And then we are going to head over. Get ready for this, folks. These people are ready for it. Dun, 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 dun. Where is it? There it is. There it is, the Assignment Unpossible crew. Check out this fine group of people that are dressed up far better than me. I have to think of how I want to dress up when I'm supposed to be the faceless narrator guy. I got to think of how to do that and bring my A game. But I'm extremely excited to have this wonderful crew with me. They are going to they're awesome, and I'm really excited about the series premiere of this show. And so I will, as I will generally do in these situations, allow them to introduce themselves, and I'm going to begin with the gentleman that is to the right of me as you watch on the video screen, and that, of course, is the Natalie attired. I love his hat. In no way do we wear the same hat all the time. Greg Stangl. Greg, good to see you, man. How are you? How's life? And who are you playing today, sir?
Oh, I am super duper psyched to be back here. Arv, I can't wait to play this. I've been thinking about it quite a bit since the last time we played it. I'm promoting this little system any chance I get among the RPG community as something that is super fun and super quick and super just, it's an ease. It's a very user-friendly system, but it's really fun. Co-narration between players and game master, it can't be beat. But anyway, I'm going to be playing Benjamin Voss, who is the shady shade guy for the group. He's the thief. He's the nefarious, gets things done, maybe bends the law a little bit in getting there, but that's his job, works in the shadows. I can't wait to get back into them, ride a couple more elevators if appropriate, wear my skin-tight black outfit because, yes, let's do this, man. Let's have some fun in the 60s.
I like that because, yes, good to have you, Greg, as always. And, of course, Greg is a wonderful DM that you should be, and GM that you should be checking out. Does a lot of really cool stuff on his channel and wears a series of awesome hats and wigs as well. So that's always good, too. Moving right along the line, we have someone who is familiar to this channel, not just from Assignment Unpossible, but previously seen on Adventures in Middle-earth back in the day as well. And that, of course, is Lauren Irwin. Hello, Lauren. How are you? And how is life with you? And who are you playing?
Oh, I'm doing great. Super excited to be here because I really, really loved this game last time we played. So I'm excited to get back into it. I'm good. It's my birthday tomorrow, or in less than 3 hours.
Happy
so that's
almost
exciting.
birthday.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And today I'm playing Anastasia Stasi Sokolov. She is the group's heavy, which means she can kill people with relative ease, also known as Spider Maid. If you didn't watch the last one, that's probably really confusing. It's spider with a Y. Yay, puns and whatnot. Yeah, that sounds like it's about all I'm gonna say about her until she gets to kill someone with her thighs. So I'll see you soon.
Spider Maid. Yeah, I was a big fan of it. I was amazing how I when you did it once, I didn't think that it would ever get to the point where we could do it twice, and yet twice you were Spider Maid in the same adventure. It was not what I had expected. I have to think about in 3-dimensional space. But it's always a pleasure to have Lauren with us and playing Stasi. Moving right along, we have, of course, the glamorously attired, I think it would be fair to say, and she basically set it up so everyone else was like, we have to get more dressed now because Chelsea did it, and that, of course, is Chelsea Steverson. Hello, Chelsea. How are you? How is life? Also known as Little Red Dot. How is life, and who are you playing today?
Life is good. It's really good. I had a short day at work today, so I had a little extra time. I adulted, laundry, dishes.
Nice.
Groceries, the works, and now I'm here trying to be glamorous. So I'm playing Vivian Merlau. Miss Merlau is a kind of B-rated silver screen star. She is much older than she looks, and she is the gifter of the group, the grifter. She is she talks her way out of most things or into most things. And make sure that she stays in the limelight to maintain her cover, which she has been doing for a while since the government left her after the blacklisting of all of the actors.
Yes, and I can't say any more about that except that backstory fun. I can't. It's going to be fun down the line. I'm looking forward to it. But always a pleasure to have Chelsea with us. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to it. You should also check out her work as DM and GM on many places, including Trials of Baal. I am always admiring of the fact that she is able to, with no matter who jumps on. I do D&D with viewers every other month, but she does this every week, and I'm always extremely impressed with how well she's able to handle that with aplomb and putting together stuff that's a really cool story. story works. So you should check her stuff out as well. And moving right along the line, we have, last but certainly not least, the newest member of the Assignment Unpossible team, and well known to all of us here, Will Jones and Counter Roleplay. I'm just kidding. I'm totally joking. I'm just totally joking.
I do brand myself as the American Will Jones.
The American Will Jones. This is actually, of course, Mike Hunt, Unmade Gaming. Mike, great pleasure to have you on, man. I'm really happy to have you here. How is life? Welcome to the crew. And how have you been, and who are you playing?
Life is good. I started playing Pokemon Go, and that's consumed my life now. That's all I
Great.
do with my free time.
We'll see you in a couple years. Yeah.
Yeah. I walk now, which is terrifying. It's been fun. And
Damn those video games.
I know, right? How dare you take me outside my comfort zone and my house, which is also my comfort zone. So I am excited to be here. As Greg can tell you, I don't read books or systems, and I'm here to learn how to play the game right now as we all jump in and play. And I'm here to figure out who this character is, because I made him 4 hours ago. I'm prepared.
I am prepared. He is, however, playing in the game. It's called the Fixer. We really call him the Tech, the Fixer or the Tech, but basically the same kind of thing. The Barney Collier character from Mission Impossible, the original series. If any of you know how this works. So, okay. So the way that this goes is this is the series premiere. Although we have technically done one of these one time before, but this is the series premiere, starting with this new crew. So these 4 people are spies. They are spies working for the United States of America. Their technical leader is Benjamin Voss. He is the contact for the other ones. However, they are essentially co-equal within this team in that they develop concepts and ideas together in terms of how they want to go about managing various problems that are presented. As Greg pointed out, this is a co-narrative system, and it is designed by a guy named John Wick. Quick side story that I told these folks before. After Origins in Columbus, Ohio, I was across the street getting food before I was going to drive home, and a friend of mine, my friend Aaron Rosenberg, wonderful writer, was with me, and this guy comes up to him and he's like, "Oh, hey, how you doing?" They get into a conversation, and he says his name, and I don't really catch it. It's John something, but I'm like, okay. So then we're walking away, and Aaron's like, "Yeah, so that's John Wick." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, that's John." I'm like, "That's John Wick?" So I turn around and I come back. I'm like, "I'd like to reintroduce myself. I love your system, Wilderness of Mirrors, and I'm doing it on my Twitch channel." So we get into another 10-minute conversation. He's like, "That's amazing. I can't wait. Oh my God, that's so cool, blah, 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 blah." So I actually met the designer of this system. He is a well-known game designer anyway, but this is a classic John Wick system because it puts a lot of privilege on storytelling and working collaboratively. There's a lot of yes and going on in here during this system. But basically the way it works is I am going to be presenting a scenario, and it's going to begin with Benjamin actually picking up what the mission actually is. At that point, once he knows what the mission is, the team will meet. They then decide how they want to go about doing things and sort of setting up for the adventure that is at hand. Each of the team can do everything to a degree, but they can do their particular specialty notably well. And so they have a certain number of 6-sided dice that they can roll for each of a given set of skills. However, their particular skills, in Benjamin's case, the Shade, for example, they get the maximum number of dice that they can roll, which is 5 dice, without extra exceptions, which I'll talk about in just a second. But normally the maximum you could roll would be 5 dice. And so if there is a particular risk that needs to be taken that is related to a Shade skill, in my judgment, I would ask someone like Benjamin, for example, if he's climbing outside the walls or kind of hanging, down from a wire, Tom cruising it as he goes into this, museum to steal some secret piece or whatever. That sort of thing would require him to roll dice. The way it works is that if he gets the highest number, which is basically between 16 and 20, it means that he gets to narrate everything that happens. He's like, "This is how it went down, this is how awesome I looked," etc., etc., etc. If he rolls instead between 10 and 15, then he gets to narrate everything, but I, as the narrator here, gets to veto one of those things. So I'm like, "Well, yeah, that was all awesome, except you didn't notice the alarm wire that you tripped doing this," or something like that. The next level down is 6 to 9, if I'm doing my math properly. I think that's right. Yeah. 6 to 9. And under the 6 to 9 level, that means that I get to narrate what happened, except that he gets to veto it. So I could be like, "So then you fall and, you crush your larynx and all that." He's like, "Well, that all happened except that my larynx didn't get crushed." I wouldn't actually crush people's larynxes yet. But the idea is that you get to veto that. And then the last thing is the 1 to 5 level. That's the level where complete disaster, you don't get a veto, and I get to narrate and say everything that happened. It is not always the case that I will do things that are designed to screw over the group. It depends on the circumstances and the environment. But in any case, things didn't work the way you planned if you failed. So that's basically the mechanic. And each one of these specialize in a particular one. Benjamin is the shade, so he gets the benefits are the shade. In Stasi's case, she is the heavy, and so her benefit is hand-to-hand combat. If, for example, she took down a guy who we sort of laughingly joked was called Bicep Neck, she was able to crush him and kill him, and using her heavy skill, so she was able to roll 5 dice to begin with to make that happen. And Vivian is the grifter, so if she has to really talk her way out of a problem, like, I don't know what you mean, of course I'm actually Queen Elizabeth, why wouldn't I be? That sort of thing. That's what allows her grifter skill gives her the maximum possibility to be able to do that. And then last, of course, Damien is the tech or the fixer. So when it's the defuse a bomb type of thing, that is when the tech skill comes into play, and that is when he will have a chance to roll his maximum set of dice. Now, the only exception to this number that I've talked about is what we call mission points. As time goes on, as the people lay out their plans, I will add mission points that they will be able to use throughout the rest of the mission. So when they are like, I'm going to do this cool thing and this awesome idea, I'm like, okay, that's pretty good. I'm going to add a mission point here. And at the end, they'll have a pool of mission points. All of them have one pool from which they draw. Now, the thing about it is, once this is done, the mission pool allows you to, every mission point allows you to add a die to your roll. So if you have normally 5, you could roll 1 more if you really, really want to be sure. For when you absolutely positively must kill someone, you need to do the mission point. Then you could use a mission point from the pool and add a die. However, once a mission point is gone, it's gone forever. You don't get one back for the rest of the mission. Moreover, after the mission begins, after the planning is started, this is timed. And so every 20 minutes of real time, you will lose a mission point. So these guys have to move somewhat quickly and not just hang around and talk for 3 hours, most Dungeons & Dragons, and figure out a way. I'm just joking. That doesn't happen ever. And be able to move forward. And so that's basically the way the system works. Set of very simple skills, all done with D6s. You roll a certain number, but you roll more of them if you are particularly specialized in that skill, and mission points allow you to add something onto that. Everyone cool with that basic summary, etc.?
Let's do it.
Okay, so let us get some music starting then. Let's get our music going on.
We do have our special abilities we can use mission points for as well, right? Once per episode?
Yes, that's correct. And actually, give me 1 second while I grab you're right, let me grab the manual so I can tell you exactly what those are.
I was gonna say, I think I wrote mine on my character.
Yeah, I remember mine because it was super awesome.
Me too. I can spend a mission point and make anyone believe anything.
Yes, you may.
I don't know what mine is, but that sounds good.
I can use
Yeah.
a mission point to take out up to 10 enemies at once.
Yes.
Damn!
Yeah. It's ridiculous. Yeah.
I can spend a mission point to enter any area, anywhere, undetected.
Completely undetected. I love, by the way, that I was like, I understand this system completely. I don't need the manual. What about this? I will go get the manual now and consult it because I don't remember. So that's what you're able to do. The Grifter's special ability allows her, so Vivian would be allowed to convince anyone of anything. You're like, no, I'm actually a werewolf. Like in real life, I swear to God, I'm a werewolf. And they'd be like, you are a werewolf. Like I can clearly see that, So that is what that would allow her to do. And then your one, Damien, basically allows you to have the exact piece of equipment that you would need. In the last session, for example, they had this booby-trapped lighter that was going to blow up, and they needed to figure out a way to defuse it. And so Ryan ended up using his mission point special to be able to have on him a small gadget bomb diffuser. Like, you just carry that around, right? As you would always do.
Why wouldn't you carry that?
Why wouldn't you have one of those? And so he had that, and he was able to do it in this case. So that's basically what that is. Now, the thing is, you only get to use one of those specials per mission, and it does use a mission point. So it comes from the general pool, but it also is like when you absolutely cannot afford to screw up a roll, like that's what this would be about. So, thank you for the reminder. That is important. Any other questions before we get going here? Good. All right. Then let us make it out. Let us get moving here. And by the way, the name of this episode, ladies and gentlemen, is called The Carriers. All right. With that said, Ben, the beginning sequence begins with you walking into a 25-cent arcade. There are games and pinball machines, ding, 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 going off on the side. There's people playing skee-ball, you can tell. A couple people are doing one of the classic, like, drop the hammer on the thing for the strength, bell to make it ring, that whole business. And you were standing there with pinball machines and games of chance. Somewhere in this video arcade, even in the 60s, video arcade, somewhere in this arcade is the place where you will get your mission briefing and assignment. Where will you find it, sir? Muted.
Well, you said that, let's see, that there is the skee ball, there's pinball,
Yep.
there's all of these things.
There's
Now,
also a
if-
couple
if-
of picture booths, too, by the way.
Okay, if there was a drop to be made in an arcade like this, and it would be something that Ben would want to be able to grab quickly, he was going to go into one of the photo booths, but when he goes into one of the photo booths, he sees the bank of them. He walks up, adjusts his tie, pulls forth the drape, goes in, pulls the drape, and stays inside.
Okay.
And- I was going to say maybe 4 to 5 minutes later, a person dressed almost like a hobo wanders out of the arcade, maybe getting shooed at by one of the clerks or one of the people that is dispensing change inside the arcade. And as this hobo is shooed out, Ben kind of lifts the hat of the disguise that he's wearing and pulls out the envelope for the mission. His suit left back in the photo booth for whoever might be tailing him to find.
Very nice. So inside that, actually, inside the envelope, what you find is actually a little bit of a tape thing, but you don't find the tape player. But you do find in there instructions to go to a second photo booth, which is also in the arcade. And when you go to that second photo booth and slide in there, you can actually see that it's listed on the outside as being out of order, but of course you know better. Sitting back in the seat, sort of drawing the drapes, you click the button on the front, and you begin to hear you click this button and then are able to insert the tape into the player, which reveals itself. You're able to put the tape in there and start playing it, and a picture appears on the screen, and it looks very much like this as you hear the following narration. Good morning, Mr. Voss. This is Janosch Pasek, an enemy expert on American traditions, slang, and customs. Pasek is gathering some 200 agents who are in final training, learning to act as Americans for a special operation. All we know about the plan is that it will be some form of bacteriological warfare against the United States. Your mission, should you decide to accept it, is to get into that training center and stop Pasek, make certain his plan fails, put him permanently out of business. As usual, should you or any of your assignment Unpossible team be caught or killed, the Secretary will disavow any knowledge of your actions. This tape will destroy itself in 5 seconds. Good luck, Ben. And then there's a as the tape goes.
Ben steps out and lights a cigarette and walks away.
Okay, as you do so, you hear this psss, and you just see a little bit of steam, sort of smoke, kind of drifting from underneath the drape. All right. Now, that gives us a chance to do a little bit of a cut over to your apartment where the rest of the team has assembled. You guys have a chance to introduce yourselves, well, or at least the new guy has a chance to introduce himself briefly. You guys can talk just briefly, and then I'll just tell you, Ben, a little bit of the extra info that you happen to know, but I'll give you a chance to sort of speak to each other first.
Ben would be behind the counter, which has a nice little open view floor plan of the apartment. Very 60s, kind of low walls everywhere, low couches. As he's shaking up martinis, and he looks over at Damien and says, "Ladies, Damien, ladies."
2 olives in mine, please.
I know.
I know you know.
Is this normal? This looks like your house.
It's kind of like a clubhouse. It's kind of like all of our houses in one. Ben is very accommodating. And Stassi is, her feet are on the wall and she's just like doing push-ups. You can baller.
Can't with you.
I'm very serious all the time. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, I think Damien would have like his arms kind of across behind his back, and he's just kind of looking over whatever makes for decorations in the house, picture frames, trophies, that kind of thing. And he looks over to Ben and says, "Is that true? Everyone just lives in your house? Is that normal for an agency?"
Son, this isn't my house, but
Oh,
okay.
oh,
He
okay.
is
I
gullible. This should be fun.
I was told to meet at Ben Voss's house, and this is where I. Okay, all right. Okay.
This is my house.
It's a
You're
new,
in the right place.
It's a new guy thing. Is that what I'm getting here?
Yes, we're hazing you. Are we Vivi? Are we hazing him?
Okay.
Hazing.
I've been to college. I get it.
This
I
is
see
not
it.
a frat.
I see it.
Could it be though?
Damien, this is a clubhouse, if you would. It's
Okay.
known as Ben's house. The agency owns it.
That makes far more sense.
Yes.
It's very uncouth if you just hang out at Ben's house and accept missions. That would be.
Ben, do you even have a house?
That sounds like a secret.
He doesn't tell those.
That makes
Right,
sense.
but he could tell us one, and we could tell him one. We could go around in a group, and then it would bond us together. Still, now I'm doing one-handed push-ups against the wall.
We're already bonded together. We don't need to know each other's
That's
secrets.
right.
Then
We killed Nazis.
We
Yeah,
didn't
and
do
we-
that. That's
That bonds anybody.
I guess.
Absolutely.
We don't want to end up liking each other here. I mean,
Right.
come on.
So, tell me again, the agency sent
A
him,
lot of Nazis?
Damien, how did you get wrapped up in all this?
How many Nazis are we talking?
So many. I killed
Enough.
so many. There was one with like a neck that was like an arm, but like a thick arm. It was cool.
Not thicker than 2 thighs.
I switched to my left hand and started doing push-ups that way.
I feel like I'm missing something here, like a key piece of a joke.
Before
so-
Damien jumps in, just one quick note. The Ellis, after the unfortunate accident, Ellis is semi-retired. Whether he will ever come out of that retirement is unclear. But
Oh,
he's
gosh.
been asked by the agency. There's too much collateral damage with the last explosion to him and others. And so Ellis has been out of the picture. I bring this up only because, Damien, you knew Ellis and actually went to school with him. Other than that, though, I'll leave it to you as to what else you know or want to reveal. But you did go to school with Ellis.
Perfect. Was it established in the canon where he went to school? Because I'm about to change that.
No, it was not established. Go ahead and make it now.
It is true. We went to MIT. But he looks to you and he says, so I'm going to, just full disclosure on the killing of Nazis thing. That was my low score on the agent entrance exam. It was the killing, really, of anyone.
Oh, that's okay. You don't have to kill anyone. You're not here for the killing.
Thank
No.
God, I was told that you guys lost the tech and you needed a new one, and I wasn't ready to kill Nazis. That wasn't part of the brief, so.
Yes.
We didn't kill Ellis either. And don't let anyone tell you that we did.
Right. And to be fair, son,
No one-
Stassi's here to kill everybody, and I'm pretty sure we got all the Nazis that were left. So
Okay.
It's true.
No one said that you killed Ellis?
I just want to make sure that you knew because you looked worried.
I'm worried now,
Good.
because usually people that don't kill people don't clarify they didn't kill people.
I do. I like to be open and honest with everyone all the time.
Okay,
That is the most true statement that's been said all night.
I believe that.
You should. I'm very bad at lying.
Which is why she only hits people.
Very hard.
So I'm Damien.
Oh, right. Names.
Yeah. and I make stuff. Is that
How
similar?
poetic.
Like
Yeah.
stuff that helps me kill people.
I assume I could make that. What do you kill
Okay.
people with? Your hands? I could probably do it.
Sometimes my thighs. And she starts giggling again and switches back to the other arm.
I've never had to make a thigh equipment, but I'm sure I could probably handle it. Give me about 20 minutes, so I can make something.
Damien, is this your first mission?
We're doing the drift thing? Yeah. Like field one. Like
I make
outside.
direct eyes with Benjamin. Of like, they sent us a newbie?
He's got that new spy smell.
Like
Yeah.
so normally I stay inside an agency proper.
Well, you won't anymore.
I see that as I am in Ben's house.
What?
I hear them saying new spy smell and I stop doing push-ups and I go up right in his face and take a big sniff.
Closer than I would.
Oh, Stassi, he is.
It's like a new car.
Is she like a mascot? Like a
Shh,
very aggressive.
Thank you.
he's kind of like our spirit animal.
Okay. I don't know what that means, but
you're-
No, I don't understand this reference.
I feel like I'm missing part of that joke.
So Ben, as you're listening to this banter, you're contemplating a little bit about the other bit of information that you found in the envelope. The information that you got, which I'll talk about where it came from in a minute, is that this particular training center is found at the outskirts of East Berlin. And there is the front of basically this is a small training center, and the only details that you know, which don't make a lot of sense to you yet or to anybody else, because this information came from an agent who managed to successfully infiltrate the town. He also never came back and never reported and never heard back after his last, or he never reported again after this one report, which had a lot of incomplete information. And so the only thing you know is that he made a big deal that the agency passed along to you about talking about this theater. He talked about there was this theater that was boarded up and an elevator inside it which led down 4 flights to a laboratory which was built like a bank vault. It's pretty much exactly as I'm reading it to you is sort of what he had hurriedly scrawled when he managed to get this out to the agency. And Pasek himself had the only key to that lab. So you know about that. The other thing you know is that during the next 24 hours, the candidates for this training center will be arriving in small groups of 4, 2 men, 2 women, in small groups at 47 Raderstrasse in East Berlin. And so that's basically the details that you know. Again, you never got this agent back, so you don't know any details or about what's happened to him, if that person's even still alive, et cetera, et cetera. But you know something about a theater, an elevator, a laboratory, and there are these candidates, the agents that are going to be making up this thing, are going to be coming in small groups of 4, 2 men, 2 women, at this location. And that's what you know.
All
Okay,
right.
a couple things. I relay all this information to the group, but do we know this was definitely the lost agent? Do we have a name for the lost agent, or I'm assuming it is a he? It's confirmed. It's a male.
Yes, it was confirmed that it was a male, and the name was Jonas Smith.
Okay.
How long he been with the agency? Do we know that?
A long time. He was actually one of their more experienced people, probably over 10 years. I mean, they made it clear to you, you don't know the exact amount, but they told you he was a veteran. So he had been there for a while. And this is before they knew the amount of these details. They had just heard something about that there was something up. They sent him in, and he managed to send out a couple of reports, and that's where they got this incomplete stuff about the bacteriological warfare, and then what I just mentioned, and then that was it. Then the reports ceased. However, the center has not, they haven't seen like a step up in guards. There hasn't like a diplomatic incident, like ambassadors didn't show up from the Soviets, like demanding that the Americans. So whatever happened, it's possible that he might, he may not have, his cover may not have been blown, but he's no longer clearly an effective agent because he's not reporting anymore.
Gotcha. I have one last question. I'll turn it over to you guys. Do we know the theater of operations that Jonas worked in before this one? Is he predominantly like Eastern Bloc Russian
Yes.
specialist? So he's been like extensively undercover in Russian-controlled areas, Russia proper, East Berlin, Soviet bloc
That
stuff.
is which is exactly why they chose him, because he was, first of all, fluent in Russian, and secondly, because he had the sort of look of someone, he just fit in culturally and otherwise, at least from their point of view. So yes, he was kind of an Eastern Bloc specialist, and they didn't tell you also get him back if you can, but
Right.
Ben, that this is like actually all of you know, that this is a blow to the agency to lose a guy like this, and it's not something that would have been expected. Like, this is a guy who, if you're in this business for 10 years and you've been doing field work like this for that long, you're pretty damn good. So yeah,
Never had any problems, never written up for anything, never.
not that you're aware of, at least not that they've shared with you.
Okay. You guys have any questions? Go ahead. I think I'm ready.
So am I to understand, is our mission is to stop this biological like warfare thing that they're putting together in this lab? It's not to find the missing agent.
Right. That is correct. Your sort of fundamental issue is to stop PASIC and to stop whatever training they're doing and whatever this bacteriological thing is happening. It's
And
to
we don't
put
know
him out
anything
of
about this
situation.
training.
Nope. You know nothing whatsoever about it, other than the location where it's taking place, and you know that it's got something to do with the bacteriological warfare, and it's pretty large scale. I mean, 200 agents is a lot of goddamn
it's a
agents.
lot.
So yeah,
And we don't know anything more about the candidates other than like
Nope.
how they're being delivered.
nothing at all. How that gathering information about some of those candidates might be useful. You only know that they're going to be coming in these groups of 2 men and 2 women.
Hey, we are 2 men and 2 women.
It's true.
That's good.
Dazi, I know you do a lot of push-ups and things, but you are quite bright.
She blushes a lot.
Damien looks around confused, not sure if this is part of the joke or not.
Not. And she glares at him. Go
So,
on.
East Berlin.
Yeah.
Is it too advantageous to think that we could, in fact, take out one of the groups, replace them, and enter in their stead?
I think that sounds perfectly reasonable.
I would like to refer you to my introduction.
You could stay quiet.
Yes. That I can do.
Can you?
According to-
though?
According to the intel, they're all playing American, so we can play that. But it's the
I'm good at that.
Oh,
Out of
so we're
everything.
playing Russians, playing Americans. No, that's it.
And you'd be another
don't-
step. You're
Right.
Russian playing American playing a Russian. Or
Yes.
American.
something.
Yes. Good. I speak Russian. I don't
So-
know if you can tell, but
You
I
don't
do.
play.
We have a
No.
Do we know much about this location? Has anybody been to East Berlin?
You do know the general vicinity of it, and the main thing you know that it's somewhere in the outskirts of East Berlin, but the only exact address is this 47 Roderstrasse, where supposedly these groups of agents are supposed to be reporting. Whether 47 Roderstrasse, incidentally, is like in East Berlin. It is not on the outskirts. So if you had to guess, that's not the training center, but it's where they're reporting first.
Right, but it's like a drop point. I guess that's what I'm saying. Is it a town square? Is it going to be really populated with people? I'm trying to find out more about the location.
That you know about, you mean, like the specific address?
Yeah, that we would know.
47 Roderstrasse is a fairly well-traveled lane and road. It's not a massive like super highway right down the center of Berlin, but
Right.
it's a relatively well-traveled old place with lots residential though, lots of houses along that way. Not a lot of businesses, not a lot of big governments, things as far as but and it is somewhat outside the city center, but not outskirts like kind of rural, getting farther out in East Berlin. Certainly not big enough as far as you would know to be able to hold something that would have, like, if you can think of like small European houses of the time, that's kind of what we're talking about. I mean, unless there's a vast underground complex, which I'm perfectly willing to admit exists everywhere in Europe. I just assume, but otherwise.
We can only hope.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so we're thinking we look for some people who are in groups of 2 men and 2 women going to this place. We take them out totally non-lethally, but then we take their stuff and maybe any papers they have, and then we go to the place in their stead, right? This is what we're thinking.
Yes, but we don't want to take them out at the drop-off point or at the location of meeting. We need to isolate a group.
I may be new to this, but we don't know where the endpoint is, right?
Maybe this theater.
Yes, we are assuming it's in the basement of this theater.
We should find out. No? Maybe watch one of the groups.
The notes, told us that the lab itself and the training center is underneath the theater.
Not the training center. The lab is at the bottom of the theater, but the theater could be in the training center for all you know. You don't really know about that.
I see. Okay.
All you know is that it was the lab, and again, his notes were confused and rushed. So.
Okay. You're right, Damien. We don't know. I mean, the idea, I guess, would be to follow. Once we arrived at the location, they would lead us there, yes, as these candidates.
Yes, and if there are many groups of them, we could follow one and then go intercept another.
Exactly. We have a sequence of events here, everyone, that needs to be performed in a sequence. We need to take this
in an orderly fashion. Please line up.
But we need to replace these candidates. We need to get the key from our good buddy Janusz Pasek. We need to be able to identify where the lab is and where this theater is, be able to take out these biological weapons, and we need to be able to identify and, if possible, tag whatever the agency needs for these 200 candidates. But we need to be able to find out more beyond just the drop-off point before we get there. My biggest concern is this. This is East Berlin. This is Eastern Bloc. As soon as we get in there, we can't walk around and pretend like we're sightseeing. This is a place that everybody is walking to or from somewhere. There's no stragglers, there's no pedestrians, there's no one being lazy, there's no strange folk. It's gonna be tight as soon as we hit the ground.
Do we have contacts in East Berlin? We could use a safe house.
You are aware of a couple of contacts that you have, and there are a couple of places that probably could serve at least as a staging point, although nothing on Roderstrasse specifically.
Right, we could go there, we could arrange for, Vivi has lots of friends. Maybe she has friends who could help us blend in once we have a safe place to go. But yes, we are kind of
crossing into East Berlin. They're not going to let us just fly in on some commercial airline.
It's true.
The agency can provide you, by the way, false passports.
Okay, that's what I needed to hear.
Yes, the agency is prepared to do that.
Cool.
In is one thing, out is something else.
I say we need to, 1, scout the location, and 2, how can we backtrack? We need to find out more about these initiates, where they're coming from. If we can take out a group isolated from the larger collection, we will have better luck, I think, staying undercover.
It's a good point. What do we know about Pasek? Is Pasek Russian?
Yes. So Pasek is Russian, and he is an expert on American traditions and slang and customs. There are some rumors, although this has never been confirmed by either the agency or anyone else, that Pasek was originally American. and that he defected and became a double agent. That's not clear if that's actually what happened because the agency doesn't talk about it. But anyway, he's kind of a legendary figure in Eastern Bloc spy realms and rings.
The other
So
thing
many
to consider,
layers.
the other thing to consider, kids, is that our missing agent Jonas Smith spent an awful lot of time with the Russians. Awful lot of time in the Eastern Bloc. Whenever you're embedded like that, you're not sure exactly what might happen.
Mm.
He could have gone native at any point. So this information that he's sending might be a good way for America to get involved, fall into a trap, disavow knowledge, capture 4 little schmoes like us, and bleed as much as they can from us.
Yes.
No, I'm not saying benefit of the doubt and all, but keep that in the back burner.
Yes, I knew some very, very nice Russians. Could just be
I'm
friendly.
sure.
None as nice as me, obviously.
So, Arv, are we in like post Flower Power East Berlin or pre Moscow? Everyone goes to war Berlin.
Well, this is 1966.
Okay.
So
we're pre Flower Power.
yeah,
Berlin.
I would say pre-Flower Power. Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, and by the way, in case anyone's curious, probably about 3 months after the incidents surrounding the discovery of Hitler's treasure.
Right.
For the 3 of you did this before, so it's about 3 months later.
Okay, about 3. Okay, that's a good timeline. Okay.
Yep.
We recovered that treasure. I will reach out to my contacts in East Berlin. I'll have them meet us at the border. We'll be safer traveling with foreign passports if we are with other East Berliners.
Can I give you a shopping list of otherwise mundane items?
To who?
Yes, none of us. She does not shop for herself. Let
Weird.
me tell you, I will shop for her. Nobody. She does not shop herself.
Sorry, that wasn't clear. To your for you to give to your contacts.
Oh,
Oh,
for
far
us to
less
have when we
assuming.
arrive. Yes, sure. I'd be
Be
more
far
than-
less assuming if I don't come with a lab.
Yes, we can manage
let's
that.
have a lab in the safe house. Very convenient.
Also, for the record, Ben, do you have a lab in your safe house?
This isn't my safe house.
It's the agency.
The clubhouse. It's
Okay.
this super
Do-
secret.
is
clubhouse.
there a lab here, Ben?
Sure.
Just a cock.
Okay. Well, all right. Well, okay. I'll figure it out.
Are you looking for something particular, Damien?
No, just in case I need to make something here if we're not in Berlin. You know, I make things. That's
Oh, right.
the thing I do. That's the
Yes.
Well, good news, Damien. We're on our way to Berlin
Yep.
right
Perfect.
now.
Okay. Yep. I see what's happening here.
So, okay, so plan. Get across the border in with my contacts.
Okay.
I guess we're gonna go straight to whatever safe house or place that we're using in East Berlin. Are we gonna scope the location that we've been given on this Strasse, whatever 80-something Strasse?
Roderstrasse is the
Roderstrasse.
Right.
Are we going to scope that first before like taking out 4 unassuming candidates as they have been labeled and replacing us and them? Plus, we haven't even discussed what we're going to do with them.
I will put them to nappy times.
Yes, but they will awake.
No.
Oh, so you're going to kill them. So then we need to figure out what to do with the bodies.
Oh. Yes.
Yeah. Right.
Yes. Well, last time I just rolled the guy up in a carpet. It was a big carpet, Damien. It was very nice. It stopped the blood that was gushing from his neck.
Okay.
Do you want me to go into more detail?
I don't. I'm gonna be honest.
I stabbed him right in the
Oh,
jugular while I was on top of him.
Yeah, I
pinning him.
asked, and then you said I said no, and you did it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sometimes, American words are so hard.
Yeah. Like no. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. I get it.
David, do you think you can outfit us with an earpiece, a way to communicate if we were to be separated?
Yes, I would prefer to be separated. I mean, yep. No, I can make that. I can absolutely make that.
Benjamin, I guess you prefer to go. Benjamin, what are your thoughts? What do we do? How do we go about killing or disposing of these 4? They will be a loose end, can be found.
Just hide them somewhere.
They don't have to be hidden to the point where they're entombed, never to be unearthed for 400 years. We just need to be able to stick them somewhere for 24, 48 hours. If we're there any longer in East Berlin, we're staying. So we can figure out a place. We can put them in the safe house. It doesn't.
Yeah.
My contacts, okay.
We could also just leave them in a dumpster.
That's not.
That's actually, it takes a significantly less amount of time. We're going to attack them, take their bodies across the city back to the safe house.
Well, we could throw them in a dumpster. I mean, I heard that is a proper burial in East Berlin, so.
Untrue. I mean, someone's gonna check the dumpster.
Well, if they are naked and have no papers on them, who's to say who they are? Who cares? It's just 4 dead bodies in a dumpster, for nobodies.
I know it's like anarchy, but East Berlin does have a police force.
Right. So they won't know who they are.
Okay.
Unless you think the police force is in on it. Then they probably still won't know who they are because we're going to take their clothes and their paperwork. If you want, I can take their teeth too.
We will hide them to the best of our ability.
Do we
Continue
have
it out.
Do we have a list of the names of these candidates?
No.
I don't think we know anything about them except for the pairings and how they're traveling.
Exactly.
We need to get to Berlin within 24 hours. We need to get to 47 Roderstrasse, and we need to watch. And then we need to tail 4 of these unfortunate people. We need to make them sleep, preferably for 24 or 48 hours before they're either found or awoken, in which time that we're already done and we are already gone. So if those bodies end up in the sewer, in a hay bale, playing poker around a safe house table,
All those are very classic Russian places to dump bodies, so I like them.
right. So let's get to Berlin, people, and put on your best commie faces.
All right. So the 4 of you head off there, and we will start assigning mission points once you've gotten to the safe house and you decide how you want to handle things from there. Since we are going to Berlin, I am going to take you fine folks over with me to Berlin.
Oh,
in
yay, look, it's Berlin.
1960, actually, 66, Berlin. And I want to highlight a little bit here. Actually, 1 second.
Now, since I'm new here, both in-game and out-of-game, how does the making of things go? If I want to make things for these guys.
So there is a general. Sorry, give me 1 second. No, I don't want to do what I just did. Never mind. There is a. I'm sorry. This is stop doing what I told. Thank you. Okay. So the basic way that it works is that if you have a system that you want to be able to play into, as I zoom in here, there we go. If you have something that you want to make or create that is sort of basic spy oriented, or that you would be expected to work, like basic chemistry stuff. If you want to be able to do small explosives, if you want to be able to do, something slightly better than your typical Molotov, if you want to be able to do something that can have an effect on unpicking, picking locks, something like that. Most of that stuff you were able to do without too much difficulty. The issue comes when you're trying to defeat very complex systems, complicated locks, very heavy doors that would require large explosives, things that would protect people from tank shells as opposed to just a simple bullet, like a bulletproof vest that you have to conceal. That's when things get a little bit more difficult, and and if they are difficult, then I will ask you to take a risk if it gets to that level.
So I'm hearing I can just say that I have dope shit until you say, no, I have doper shit.
Sort of, except that, relatively average dope shit, right?
Okay, perfect.
Until
Standard
stuff happens like that.
spy dope shit.
Right, exactly.
Which in itself is pretty dope. So
Yeah, no, that's what this is all about.
We start at like this level of dopeness.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You guys
perfect.
are this is assignment Unpossible, man. It's dope to begin with.
right.
So 47 Roderstrasse. When you first arrive at the border and cross over, which you do right here, if you're looking on the if you're looking on Roll20, as you cross over, the passage over happens without incident. The guards do not seem particularly involved in you, although I should point out to everyone who might not be aware that 1966 border control they were not joking around. But that said, there's not particular tension that you notice as you cross over to the other side. Roderstrasse is right here, and you can actually see it between, let's see, over here leading into Herzberg Street and coming off of Landsberger. So there's this here, and Roder Street is basically here. And 47 Roder Street is just about dead center of this street. And so the safe house that you know about is, as I said, not all that close. It's over here, which is Wisby Street.
Okay.
So it's up here. So Roderstrasse is down here.
It's not bad.
And that's Roderstrasse is where they're meeting.
Correct. That's where the agents were told to. Apparently, that's where the groups of agents are going.
Okay.
Like we did before, Arv, can we request certain things be ready for us when we get there? Just like I needed a uniform for a city maintenance worker.
Done. Yes, that's not a problem. And in fact, Vivian's contacts could even provide that too. But yes, you're able to get that. Does anyone else need any other, average dope shit?
I mean, I'm gonna have made average dope shit for these guys because it's a spy game. They're gonna have wrist walkie-talkies because why wouldn't you have those?
Of course.
With in-ear pieces.
Yep.
For sure.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, you
Cool.
guys definitely have that.
Okay.
Killer.
Yeah.
Be aware, by the way, and Ellis had made something similar to this, that the range on these is not unlimited.
Right.
And
Right.
so, yeah. Okay. Anyone
And
else?
they
have
are
any
waterproof.
requests? Yeah, they are waterproof, yes.
Could I have in my boots like switchblades?
Oh, sure.
Yay!
Absolutely, you can have switchblades. Yeah.
Cool. Both
That's
sides,
standard
the
as
front
part of the
and
boot.
back.
It's called a
I would
switch boot. Like it's actually, it's a big, you don't.
Well, I would like one on the front and one on the back. Maybe they were tracked. 'Cause that's cool.
Yes, that's totally fine. You're able to do that do that as well. So as you folks are waiting in the safe house, now I think is a good time to arrange. So you've got two components, since you've obviously got to figure out what's going on with the agents, and then you've got to go to wherever the training center happens to be, assuming you can replace them. So I haven't started doing mission points yet. Now, though, what I'm going to ask you to do is put together more of the plan. Now, the plan obviously will have to be adjusted and altered as time goes on. I get that. But what's the general shape of what you want to do? You go to Roderstrasse, then what happens? And then when you get to the training center, wherever that is, what do you want to do then? This is just broad contours. I understand things will change, but
I think the first part is to look for these groups in this arrangement.
Okay.
Find an isolated four. Try not to make a scene, and then the plan is to, I guess, attack them and hide them.
okay.
Take their. If they're wearing something that signifies, obviously we would take that. And then I guess replace them in the lineup to move in. Follow the crew.
Okay.
Down and wherever they go, wherever to find the training center.
Okay. So you basically want to be able to watch a group go into the place first, or are you going to try to intercept a group before they get to?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're intercepting a group long before that. The idea is like at the Strasse, at Rodenstrasse.
That's when you present yourselves.
That's when we're
Got
going to make the attack. Attack a group of them, replace, take their place, and then
Do you think maybe, I mean, maybe even just Ben or somebody else should watch one group? Because we know there are lots coming. So
Yeah.
maybe if he watches a group
Oh, yeah.
And
from
we
when
don't know
they
where they're
arrive
going.
to where they go, so we can see if
Yeah.
there's anything that they might know that we don't know. So we get like the second group. Or
So all the groups aren't meeting at once. They're being
No, they're
moved
coming
individually?
in
they're
two
trickling.
by two.
Yep.
It's
So
gonna
like, it would
groups.
it'd be super helpful if we had like our safe house was where Landsberger meets Rodenstrasse, right? So that we can see where they're coming from, and then when they go to 47 Rodenstrasse, and then one of us or a group of us can tail them to where their final destination is, because we don't know for a fact that it is the theater.
That's
Where-
all. The only problem with that plan, though, is that your safe house is not at that intersection.
Oh, damn.
Right.
Yeah, that's the only problem with
Could
that. But the rest
you
of it
make-
works.
Could you make maybe
What
Ben
if
some
Strassi
long
punches
range?
someone?
I mean, I will punch someone.
I was like, what if you
Maybe-
punch someone out of that house and make that our safe house?
I've done that before. I take hotel rooms. I take whatever hotel room I want. I have all the hotel rooms. Maybe you could make some kind of long range scope for Ben. So he could maybe get on like a nearby rooftop or something. I mean, he can just blend into the crowd too. Like
Yeah,
if
I
we're not
can-
at the safe house.
I can do that, and I can let's push this dope shit button, and I can make it so that like his glasses have like like the trifocal lens. They have
Yes.
that, but it's like way farther than a trifocal lens can go. Like as if one lens is actually a scope, so he can look through normal lenses. Just kind of close one eye.
Yes.
All right, you know what? This is going to be a good chance for us to try out this risk system, I think,
Sure.
Damien. So we're going to have you roll. And again, you're going to be, this is definitely a tech/fixer check. So you're going to be rolling 5 d6 here.
Yep.
And again, your goal is to get as high as possible. Now, you have not been assigned mission points yet. So actually, you know what? We'll make that scope in a minute. Let me wait and see how many mission points you got to work with first.
Okay.
Before you make that decision. So so far what I've heard is that you've got this plan. So far I'd say we've got 3 mission points out of this. Once you get to the training center, how do you plan to take your admittedly very limited knowledge
Right.
and do something with it inside the training center?
Oh, Lord.
I mean, Vivi could. Any of us could chat people up under the guise of practicing American, so they wouldn't have to speak Russian, or I could, chat some people up. I think a good complication might be if these are Russian people, any of them, that someone could recognize Stassi. So I think that might be a good complication to throw in there.
I'll buy that. Let's give that a mission point. Okay, so chatting up stuff, I'll take that with 4. Okay, so we've got 4 mission points. Anything else? Thoughts about what you're going to do and finding out more details about this lab, this dude
I
Pasek,
think
etc.
we're going to have to ride out whatever these initiates are doing
Okay.
to find out more information. So part of it's going to be like, the mission is to blend for a while.
Yep.
Like for us to just blend and gather as much information. I think, Vivian looks at the group and says, it would be advantageous of us to have a exit strategy.
Will we be able to know what it is before we see what the layout is like? Or we could blow shit up. But
Even
we
if
should-
we don't have a mapped exit, we could at least have a time for meeting. That way, if we get separated, we all know when we need to find our individual exits and a place to meet.
Good idea. Should the goal be to meet back here? You think somewhere closer to wherever we end up?
This is actually good because we can lose someone. It's enough space to lose someone if we're being trapped. It's not close enough where they'll, track us back.
It's not around the corner.
Oh, excuse me.
True. I actually just marked where your safe house is, by the way, on the map.
Oh, thank you.
And
Perfect.
yeah.
I see.
So, Benjamin, your thoughts? You like to sneak in and out of places. Thoughts on an escape?
My thoughts are as follows. If there are going to be 50 of these groups, 4 for a total of 200, they're going to be staggered in over the course of hours. I'd like to follow one of them to their conclusion. So from Rodestrasse to wherever they're going,
Right.
see them enter and then see them leave. because I'm a little concerned that if these people are American speakers and they have been trained by someone who is down with American culture and they are going into a bacterial laboratory, we might not be looking for weapons or people that are going to deploy bacterial weapons. These people that we're looking at may be the weapons themselves.
You think that they're going to use the masses to spread it?
Yep.
So no touchy after a certain point.
I want to watch them go in. I want to watch them come out. I want to see how it is. If they're still in East
The problem
Berlin,
is that we're not going in just to watch them. We're going in as them.
correct. I want to see them come back out and see what kind of shape they're in. We're not going in as for them if they're getting inoculated as soon as they walk in the door.
Smart. So yes, he sees them through to their conclusion as far as he can. Then we decide if we actually want to do that. I don't like germs. They're nasty. So I like this. So we're going to have to be not touch after.
We could also set, yeah, we could, if provided how far I go, we can create ourselves a relay team. The range that Damien gives us, and if Damien's at the safe house at home base, as soon as I pull out of range, somebody can walk from the safe house and trail me, keep me in range, and then relay whatever I say back to the safe house. If we get further out of range, Vivian, you would come out, follow Stassi, me to Stassi to Vivian to Damien, Damien to Vivian to Stassi to me. It's the only way we're going to be able to do it, because if I get out of range, you're not going to hear me. And if I find out something fun, you're not going to hear me. So
Yeah.
I'm a bit concerned that this is looking murky. And I want to make sure that we're on the clear side of it.
Yes, there's a big blind spot because we don't know what happens when they go in. So I think this is a good plan.
Yep.
Do you think that what was his name? I take such good notes. Jonas Smith. Do you think that he may have gone to the other side, lead the breadcrumbs to a certain point and then bam, stick you with something? Not a good something, a bad something.
It would be a way to take out 4 people that are agents and glean information, but I like to lean on the side of this man just tried to do his best and he got caught. We just need to keep that as a possibility, that he could have gone native with these Russians, that he could have been conscripted by the preachings of Marx.
The Russians are very convincing. We are charismatic.
I can see that. That's my concern here. Being around you, it's hard
It's
to resist.
infectious, I know. That works on multiple levels.
Interesting word, yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, the biological warfare. See, Vivian, I'm very clever, very bright.
Okay, so as I understand it, I am looking here at 6 mission points that you folks have as a group. I love that idea of the chain of people walking out of the house, each person relaying a very high stakes game of telephone. So I like this idea. So as I understand this, we're going to be dealing with Benjamin first. Who's going to be trailing him out of the safe house as he walks to find...
Me!
Okay, so Stasi's going to be following him. So assuming you folks are good with this plan, then moving forward, in 5 minutes, so you'll have a 5-minute grace period, we'll start the timer countdown. So at 10:30 p.m. Eastern, we will start the timer countdown. Yes, the timer countdown. I can speak English. And every 20 minutes, you will lose a mission point, if not used in another fashion. So keeping that in mind, now, are you still planning on doing this scope, Damien, that you wanted to be able to give them, that you wanted to make?
Yeah.
Okay, so now I'm going to ask you to take a risk. And again, you're rolling dice to do this. Do you want to use a mission point of the 6 that you have or not?
I don't think so.
Okay, so in that case, you're just going to be rolling 5 6-sided dice. Obviously, higher the better. 17. You tell me what kind of an awesome dope thing you just made.
Nice.
Sweet. I make an awesome dope thing. Yeah, so it looks like BCGs, right? It looks like Coke bottle glasses. They are thicker than normal. They are an unattractive spectacle. However, When adjusted down the bridge of the nose, the top half of the glasses are like 9, or I guess it would be a 4 times, right? So they are far more than a trifocal would be. So he just has to adjust this way, look down, and he can see as if he was looking out of binoculars.
I love it. I also note that in no way did you have on your mind the thought of glasses or anything relating to glasses leading up to this moment. That's good. That's real life in gaming. Okay, you do exactly that. It is fine work, and actually, as you hand it over to, is it Benjamin that's wearing these that you're giving these to? So as you hand it over to Benjamin, you were impressed with the craftsmanship because they look like absolute, like, I would never wear these, in a dark alley, let alone anywhere else. But man, they are. You can tell that these things are actual fine pieces of equipment when actually being used. So it's good work from this Damien kid.
Good work, kid.
I make things. That's what I'm good at.
You make them what?
They're
I can make things that you guys can kill people with, but
stylish.
they're not intended to be. You don't have to.
I think it could start a trend.
I hope not.
I hope not. Also, yeah.
Says the movie star.
See, the process is if he looks as unattractive as possible, no one pays attention to him.
Did we lose Lauren?
I think so, or she really froze at a big moment.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that she did. Thank you for the follow, by the way. She will, which means we're going to lose her, and then she's going to have to jump back on in just a second. So the windows will be messed up. It'll be fine. All right. So, Benjamin, we're going to have you head out. But before you do that, I am going to remind everybody that you are watching the series premiere of Assignment Unpossible, episode The Carriers. You are watching with Grimjack, also known as Greg, with that Salty Ginger, also known as Lauren, with Little Red Dot, also known as Chelsea, and with Unmade Gaming, also known as Mike, who are playing for you, respectively, the Shade, the Heavy, the Grifter, and the Tech/Fixer. This is your Assignment Unpossible team. If you like what you see in here, please follow the channel. Please support the channel in one of multiple ways that you can check out. And please, of course, make sure you check out all of these individual people's channels because they are great at what they do, and this is a lot of fun. So, all right, with that said, Benjamin, you are going to head out. So, are you taking a winding route, or how are you kind of leading your way to the spot where you want to start watching for them?
He is going to come in from the east, actually. So
Okay.
he is going to walk down the street with the city maintenance uniform on. He is going to blend in as far as he is going to, right garbage cans as he walks as a maintenance, just a general upkeep for the city. And as he progresses down, he'll duck into alleys when it makes sense for him to do so.
Okay.
Not to be inconspicuous, but just as if he's following trash. He's carrying a broom with him. He's carrying a trash pick with him. He's got a cloth bag just to pick up things as he's going through. And he is going to actually round where they're supposed to meet them at 47 Rodestrasse and come around from the east. So he's going to come in from this direction over here.
Okay.
As he zips around like Landsberger and comes down, what is that, Schlegelstrafe, and then up until he hits Rodestrasse.
Okay.
And then once he gets there, he'll just circle the block a couple times and, maybe sit and have an apple.
Okay. Roderstrasse looks like this particular spot as you kind of pass by it several times. 47 Roderstrasse actually just looks like a house front. Just looks like a house front, like a very small, typical European, and obviously reflective of not, how do I put this? Eastern European architecture. It's like before clearly the Soviets took over, so it's still small, but it's kind of nice and pleasant and far less efficient, you think, than the Soviets probably would appreciate. And it's got the number 47 right up there. You notice that it's one of these places that is part of a series of connected houses as well. So it's basically you got 41, 43, 45, 47, 49. It's 47. So there's houses to the left and the right of it, but small. It's really more like a condo than it is kind of a home. And there are stairs that lead up to the place as well. You're able to find a place more or less towards the end of the street where there is a bench that you can be sitting on and eating an apple. And there are a few cars that pass by, none that actually stop. There's not a lot of people moving in and out of those houses until there is one car that pulls up. It is an unmarked car, and you have had the experience of whenever you see a very, unidentified car anywhere, that usually means that people are trying to avoid, being noticed because of the lack of identification. And this car actually pulls up to the side of the street at the corner, not far from where you're sitting, and 4 people get up, 2 men, 2 women, and they begin to walk down the street towards 47 Roderstrasse as you see them walking.
Maybe as they get about halfway down the street, he takes a bite of the apple, and when he takes a bite of the apple, he triggers his watch and relays this information to Stasi. Yeah, we've got 4 going into 47. And continues to eat the apple.
Okay. I should have asked this before. Stasi, where are you now positioned?
Well, having waited the appropriate time for Benjamin to get a head start, I think she will not be as close as him because we're keeping the game of telephone going.
Right.
So maybe she'll be like if he is kind of down the street, maybe she'll be like around the next corner.
So we're talking to the north though, like here-ish?
Oh. Yeah, she'll be on the north side. Sounds good.
Okay. Do you have someone else as part of this chain that you're relaying stuff to, or is it just you gathering this info for the moment?
I think
I thought we were doing, it would be.
We're the chain of.
Yeah,
so it goes from Ben to Strozzi to Vivian to Damien.
Right. So in that case, the reason I ask is then I want to know where Vivian is. Like, I just want to know where everybody is, like, relatively speaking. So Stasi's about here, I guess. Vivian, where do you want to be farther?
I was about to say, I'm gonna have to be able to, we have to set ourselves up so we can chain it back. So I would think I'm gonna be more like here-ish.
Okay, I think that's probably it's staticky, but you can probably just make it out there.
Okay.
And then Damien is all the way back at HQ, so to speak. All right, sounds good. So this information is passed along, so you
Which way did the car come from?
The car actually also came from the east, so it actually pulled up because basically Benjamin is right down here, and the car pulled across the street from him right about here. It was coming straight though; it didn't take a right or a left, so it came from down there. Like from down what is that, Herzberg Street?
Okay.
So the 4 go in, Benjamin, and are you just staying in your bench and watching, or staying as you're eating the apple, I'm assuming, or are you going any closer to the house?
I'm taking my time with the apple. I'm babying it a bit.
Okay.
And as I'm sitting there babying my apple, I want to check and see if there is any movement in 49 or 45.
Okay, so for that, you're going to have to leave your position and move closer to that because it's on the other end of the street. So you're going to have to, because there's no bench right opposite it, so you'd have to stand up. You can still eat the apple, but you'd have to walk down the street to see that if you want to do that.
I'm going to make a show of adjusting the big, huge glasses that I have on.
Okay.
I'm going to take them off, and when I take them off, I'm going to squint my eyes as I clean them. And then I'm going to have, the remainder of the apple, and I'm going to look around. And even if there are trash receptacles closer to me, I'm going to act as if I spy one close to a good advantageous position to see 49 and 45, so I can move down the street a bit and kind of make a show of, there's one.
Got it.
And
so the shades are pulled down on all 3 houses. There's one window. These houses all look like they were built at the same time. Obviously, as I said, it's like one connected building essentially, with separate staircases leading up to each door. And there's a window by each door, and the shades are down on each one. It is right now, by the way, about midday. It's about maybe 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And so as you sort of are looking, you do not see any obvious movement out of 45 or out of 49 on either side of it. At 47, obviously, there's also a window down there as well. You don't know if because it's the sun, it's sort of hard to see if there's light coming out from inside, but you would assume so. They definitely went into that place. And as you were sort of looking at both of those things, the door opens again. So they were in there like 5 minutes, and that's pretty much it. They come out looking pretty much more or less exactly the way that they did when they went in. And they walk back to heading back towards the car. One of them actually glances at you for a minute, Benjamin, and then sort of doesn't, then kind of seem lost in thought, and they continue to move towards the car with the other three.
Does
Arv, what I want to do real quick, I'm going to throw the core very hard into the metal can. Gong, 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 and see if they look back. And I'm going to make a show of like adjusting the can and everything. And if they look my way, I'm going to squint a bit and I'll offer a very slight kind of a reserved, respectful wave towards them because of my station as a maintenance worker.
So they do,
but not them at all.
Yeah, and when you do that, that's exactly what happens. You make this loud. They do all kind of look back at you, and when you give them the wave, they all, none of them nod or anything. They just sort of turn back to what they were doing and continue on to the car. You notice that they're not talking to each other either. They seem either lost in their own. I mean, they're not drugged. They're just like quiet. They're not talking to each other. They get back to the car and then get into the car.
They're back in the car, Stasi.
they're back in the car, Vivi?
They are back in the car. Do we have a license plate?
Ben, do we have a license plate?
It's unmarked.
Unmarked.
Oh, that's right.
It's unmarked. It's lame.
It's a 1964 Opel, if that helps.
64 Opel. With any luck, it'll blow up before they get anywhere.
A 1964 Opel, thereby distinguishing it from the millions of other 1964 Opels driven in East Berlin.
Yeah, Vivian gives all the information to Damien. I was about to say, there's no way to track that down if everybody's got one.
Yeah.
It's pretty. Yeah. It's like having a Honda Civic in the 1980s. Like, good luck.
So, since I'm the next closest to Ben, while he was watching them, engaging them, could I have been watching the house?
Not from your position, because
Okay.
remember, these rows of houses are just kind of lining the street. So where you're positioned, you're not in view of it. I mean, there's other houses that are behind it, basically. So you'd need to be on Roderstrasse to see this place. Now, you can certainly watch, depending, because what happens with the car is that it continues to drive down Roderstrasse towards Lenin Alley, Landesberger, and then takes a right and starts heading this way. So basically the direction is like zip, and then starts going this way.
Okay, so they would pass me because I was on the north side.
Yep.
Perfect.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't want to run after them. It was very conspicuous. Can I kind of move along with them if there are rows of houses? Just kind of move along. Just keep them in sight as long as I can.
Let's see. Yes-ish, but the problem here is that they're going to be, they're not going at 100 miles an hour, but pretty soon thereafter they're moving at a good 40, 50 mile, clip as soon as they can, accelerating sort of out clearly in this direction. And this is leading out of the city proper. So there isn't going to be much you can do other than like run down the road after them at a certain point, or follow them in a car.
Are there any if I just kind of want to get a glean of their general direction, are there any houses that have like fire escapes on them or anything that I could climb?
The houses, this road is a little bit wider, but there are roofs. They're not super tall, these houses, but there are some places where you theoretically could get up on the roof. The problem is probably not in time to get up on the roof, and then you'd have to you literally would have to jump from the roof onto the car, which, that's, that would be a good way to eliminate your heavy early, possibly. So there's that. The other thing I can mention, by the way, is that there's side streets, obviously, they're passing. They are not turning down them. And it's right around here that you that you lose that, they're starting to accelerate beyond your ability to do. But they've gone past, they're clearly heading out this way.
Cool. I will just convey that and then kind of slowly circle back to a slightly different position, but still on the north side.
Okay. Benjamin, are you back into your waiting and watching mode now, or what are you doing next? Because
He returns to the pattern. He actually leaves the area and begins to kind of sweep down around one of the other blocks, leaving Rodestrasse. And as soon as he can, he'll whisper into the microphone after the transponder as soon as Stasi relays this information. And he says, Stasi, ask the kid who seems to be great with these glasses if he can hook up something that we can put on that car. So the next one that shows up, we can throw something on that car and not have to chase after it. Hopefully track it to wherever it's going. We're not going to keep up with it on foot.
Benji wants a tracker to put on a car real quick. Over.
Okay. Over. Damien, we need a tracker, something that can be attached to the car so we can follow it without following it.
Okay, so like a magnetic communication device. Yeah, I can probably make that happen.
Sure, that sounds like technology I don't understand. Yes.
Okay. How about I make you something pretty also?
Oh, pretty.
Perfect.
Yeah.
okay. What are you planning on constructing, Damien?
Man, some spy stuff, Harv.
Yeah, I know. It's out of the box. I know.
Some rad spy thing. I think it would be like, I don't know. I don't think we have GPS technology here, but I think we have like sonar, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this would be a magnetic dot that would go underneath any part of the metal on the car that would, like I imagine, like ship like sub sonar where it's like boop, boop,
Okay.
boop, and so we can get closer. As we get closer to it, it does that kind of like a metal detector situation. So I will have some kind of readout, and we can follow it like the ghost spectrometer from Ghostbusters.
Okay. Now let me think about how long this is going to take you to do this. Okay. My guess is that if this continues to come, now of course you don't know what the second sort of group, when the second group's going to arrive, but if they are going to be doing this within a relatively short period of time, and there's 200 of them, and they're each groups of 4, your guess is that you'll probably miss another group or 2 in the process of making. I'm just letting you know, in the process of making this thing.
Yeah.
Also, you've got to figure out how to get it to them as well.
Right.
Anyway, yeah.
No. Here's what we do. Benjamin, or I tell Stasi, tell Benjamin to stay. Keep a count of how many come in and out. We need to know if they are being infected. We need a head count.
Benji, stay. Also count.
I will bring him the tracker.
You will get your thing, your tracker thing. Talk to you soon.
Enforce.
Love you. Bye.
Talk to you later. Bye.
I'll see you.
Yeah.
This is a great toy. I like this.
This is when I can always be in my 2 best friends' ears. I love it.
Okay. So, all right. So you are. So as you're sitting there, 2 more over the next half hour ish. Indeed, 2 more cars pull up about 15 minutes apart. Each time they pull up, people get out. Now, the cars are not identical. They are unmarked and all black, though. So there is an Opel, there's a Citroën. God knows how they let a French car get over here.
Right.
But they have, cars like this that are over there. Each one of them unmarked. And when they get out, these people come out. I should point out, by the way, that these agents that you're seeing, assuming they are agents, these groups of 4 people are of all sort of different types, ethnicities, races. This is casting a pretty wide net. Now, again, you know something about Pasak's reputation, but the idea that they were able to assemble a group of people like this, you don't even know if the agency is aware of how many of these people, how wide the recruiting net was. You know, this is not a bunch of like obvious KGB dudes kind of walking down the street. This is a lot of different people that if you weren't looking closely, might have passed for, everyday people walking down the streets of New York City. And that you sort of are troubled by the possibilities of what that implies. In any case, so 2 more groups come in. In each case, they're only in the 47 for about 5 minutes, maybe slightly more, before they come out. In each case, they are not talking when they come out. In each case, they look very serious, but they don't look drugged or swaying or freaked out or anything like that. It looks like this is all part of some, routine that they were expecting, if you had to guess. So 2 groups pass like that.
Okay, not to meta this, but we are 4 minutes away from losing our first
Yes, we are.
mission point. So here's what I propose, and this is all going through the watch. 2 things: are there drivers to these cars, or are they pulling up, jumping out by themselves,
By themselves.
and getting back in? Okay. Have any of the cars recycled? Have I seen that black opal show up again?
No.
Have I? Okay, so these are all fresh cars for the 3 or 4 drop-offs I've seen.
Yes.
Okay. I am going to, if it's okay, I really want to get in one of those cars. But,
Yeah, I did too. So let's do it.
Yeah, if
We're just not there. Vivian and Damien aren't there. Stick to the plan.
Stick to the plan, chums.
yeah, but this is
We could put the tracker on one and then get in the next one.
yeah, we have the tracker coming in. We do have the tracker, but it's taken 3 cycles before we've gotten the tracker, correct? And Vivian's brought it to me.
I believe that's correct, which, by the way, means that Vivian's now out of range of Damien. So
Of Damien.
Could have telepassed it.
I guess we could do it that way.
Yeah. You give me, I give him.
Yeah, we could fire line that ship.
Is that what
Yeah.
you want to do?
Yeah, we'll do it that way. Why not?
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I was going to say the next one that comes in, or if I'm going to place it on there, and if I have to use a mission point to do my shade stuff to make sure it works, I want to.
I don't think you're going to have to. Yeah, I don't think you're going to have to do a shade thing here unless you're trying to hang onto the car. If you're just putting the tracker there, I think you have time to be able to do that. I don't think that's a shade I don't think that's a risk yet. That's
Okay,
what
then
you're
I'm going to
set.
take a risk. If I don't have to use a point for that, I don't want to waste this mission point. I am going to use a mission point for Benjamin to break into 49.
Okay.
I want to get as close as I can to 47 to see if I can glean a little bit more information from the walls or whatever.
Okay.
Uh,
How are you? So before you do that risk, are you going to go straight through the door, or not straight through the door? Are you going to try to window? Are we talking a roof entry? Or are you trying to jimmy your way into the the door of 49? How do you want to do it?
You said 49 has got the blind alley in the back. That it's the end cap of these row of
It's the end cap,
townhouses.
that's right. Yep.
He's going to roll around the back end. As soon as one car moves away and he kind of sticks the tracker on it, he'll continue his move to go to the back of the alleyway there.
Okay.
As soon as that car pulls out, he's going to make his way to kind of jump and post up and get into a second story of 49.
Okay. All right. Let's have you do a risk for that then, as you're making that happen. You are using the mission point?
I am using the mission point. So I have my macro set for 5. I will be rolling an additional one to add to this then.
Outstanding. Wow.
17
seems
I
to be
don't need
popular. All right. It's your world. We're living in it. What is? How are you get in? You tell me how it
Okay.
all worked.
So as Benjamin just walks up, drops the dot onto the back of the unmarked car,
Right.
continues down the alleyway. As he sees that he's clear, he whispers into the mic and makes sure that Stasi knows, I think I'm going to check out this neighboring house. Maybe there might be a little bit that we might glean from a closer inspection. And so he's going to jump up, grab hold of maybe the underwiring of some of the second story windows, and if the architecture permits that,
Yep.
pull himself up. And when he gets up there, check the window, hope it's unlocked. It's unlocked. 17s are great. And he opens it and he rolls into an empty room, and using the rest of the time to negotiate the floorboards, identifying anything that seems like it might give and squeak a bit, he then takes a comforter off of a nearby bed, lies it against the shared wall with 17, and begins to scoot until he finds a nice little pocket of loose plaster. And when he does that, he begins to chip away at it, see if he can't start peering through the slats. And if it lends itself to it, maybe find a little mouse hole to peer through. These are all row houses. They're all connected by road ends. So he is going to see if he can't be like one of them.
Agreed.
And just find listen.
When you sort of break in, I'm going to talk to you in just a second, Benjamin, but I want to cut over to Damien for a second. Damien, you're monitoring, right, the sort of thing. So something odd happens to the sensor. It goes up and out, sort of heading away from you as you would expect it to. But then it basically seems to do several loop-the-loops. Like it goes like down, like to the south, and then over to the west, and then north again, and then west, south, and east, and then north, west. And so you don't exactly know what the deal is, except if you had to guess, this feels to you like the car is being moved around or directed, or they have been instructed to move the car around to avoid, you know, someone easily being able to track or trace it. If you had to guess.
And I would assume I would have a little bit of a setup here where I have like a map of Eastern Berlin, and I'm doing my best to, like, this obviously isn't a GPS, right? So I would be doing my best to coordinate where they're going to street routes.
Yep.
I mean, I can see where they're maneuvering around. But yeah, it definitely looks like they're ditching a tail, or at least attempting to be incognito as best as possible.
That's right. So right somewhere around here-ish, using the map combos, whatever, the light just starts to, blinks and then stops moving. So it's still blinking, but it's not moving anymore.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Yeah, I would take that, and I would relay that to Vivian.
Okay.
Excuse me. I believe the car has stopped.
Where did you get latitude and longitude?
No, I have a map. It's off of Berliner. I don't speak. I'm sorry.
Right.
Chelsea. Language wasn't my strong suit. Strasse.
I see that. I relay to Stasi. The car has stopped. Does Benjamin have eyes?
Benji is currently doing his thing. Benji, do you think that we should get in the next car?
I'm going to go back to tell you what you hear in a minute, Benjamin, but you can answer that if you want.
Yeah, he listens to it in his earpiece, and he's holding his watch in his hand. It's no longer on his wrist. Give me one moment. I am going to see if I can't set something up here. And as soon as he has identified a mouse hole in the shared wall or a weak spot, he is going to fashion the he has a bit of an antenna, a telescoping like rod. He's going to pull that out. He's going to wrap the watch around that and kind of push it through the wall until it gets to the other side, leaving the transmitter on. And he says, Stasi, tell me if you hear anything interesting. I've got this on as well, so relay it to everybody else. When the next group comes, we'll see what they have to say, and then if Damien's already figured out where it is, no reason to ride a car. We'll just time it. So, we'll get him in the break.
So as you set all of this up, as you move the sort of antenna out, it begins to crackle to life, and you begin to hear what sounds like a conversation that is taking place in 47. And it sounds something like this. Lamb, your identification papers, please. Tigran Portish? You are not Tigran Portish. And then another voice says, but I am. From now on, you are an American named Charles Cooper. Memorize that name. Charles Cooper. You have no other identity. Only Charles Cooper. Is that clear? Yes, I understand. Maria Glinska? You hear this, yes? Clearly a female voice. You are now Gloria Cabot. No, thank you. Repeat the name. Gloria Cabot. Gloria Cabot. Good. You are Raul Overa. Yes? And again, a male voice here, a different male voice from the first one. Your American identity. Edward Gordon. Edward Gordon. My name is Edward Gordon. And Elena Rodenska. Elena Rodenska. Yes, that's me. You are now named Susie Smith. Susie Smith? Susie Smith is your only identity. Do you understand? Yes, thank you. Thank you, sir. I congratulate you on becoming a part of this magnificent enterprise. When you leave here, you will be following the prescribed route and head directly to the Willow Grove Training Center. Be clear, once you enter the center, you will not exit it until you have begun your glorious mission. And there's sort of silence, and then you hear, "That is all." And then there's sort of the sound of chairs moving and stuff like, and then people moving out. So that's what you hear. Okay. So, Benjamin, what do you want to do? Or actually, anybody, what do you want to do with all that? Now that you have that info.
I mean, since we have their names, do you think? I mean, we could just go there, but we could also send them to Nappy Times, since we have those names.
We only have their soon-to-be American names, which are not any good to us until they reach America. And then how are we supposed to track somebody that has a fake name?
No, they're like being like brainwashed. So if anyone asks their name and they don't give them those names, they would be very upset. So I just mean that we could knock them out and replace them at the training center.
Benjamin, by the way, have you gone out now from your spot? Because it sounded like you were leaving your thing there to listen. Am I right about that or wrong? Like, and then you were moving out to the front of the house again, or am I wrong about that?
Benjamin always stays too late at the party, so he is hanging out trying to hear as much as he can, because he wants to glean any additional information that he can from this, and perhaps get any type of identifier. And plus, I like to see what happens when I do something that I shouldn't.
Okay, because it sounds like the doors to the room has closed. And I don't know if, I don't think, Stasi, you weren't watching, like you weren't in his previous spot, right? You were back up at your...
No, I'm not in this. I would have been a little closer if he had gone in.
Okay, that's what I figured.
Yeah, she can't drop parallel to me, because then we'll lose Vivian. She has to stay north.
Right. Okay,
Yeah, right.
So it sounds like you hear doors closing, basically, Benjamin. So if you had to guess, those people have left. There's either one person left or nobody left in the room, but no one's making any noise now.
Okay, can I slide up to the front of 49, look out and see if somebody just walked out onto the street from 47?
Yeah, indeed you can. If you sort of open up the blinds, you can just look out to see that someone is headed out, has just walked down the steps of 47.
Man or woman?
It's a group. It is 2 and 2. 2 men, 2 women walking down the stairs.
Okay, presumably this is the Charles Cooper, Gloria Cabot, Edward Gordon, and Susie Smith wannabes, correct?
Pretty good guess, yeah, based on the proximity and time, yeah.
All right. So, yeah, he's going to come back out, and this Vivian's going to be up here, because we're going to need to actually have contact with these people, and it's going to need to be believable. So he's going to relay this information to Stasi, and he literally says, "Stasi, tell Vivian she's going to be up. We're going to need to fall back and either extend our range a bit, or the kid's going to have to come out of the nest."
Okay, I'm just saying I could have knocked those people out and we could have taken their place, but I guess we're going to go inside. Vivi, you're up at bat. That's American for come here now, please. Tell Damien to come too.
Vivian, yeah. Vivian messages over to Damien. Come out. We're moving forward.
All right. Okay, I'll be right out.
And they're getting in the car at this point, Benjamin.
Okay. Shit.
Son of a.
Okay. Damn it. Benjamin's gonna roll and jump under the car and try to lock himself from underneath. He's gonna pike up over the underneath of the car and ride.
Benjamin is going to do a risk for me, is what Benjamin's going to do.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome, but Benjamin's going to risk it. So okay. Just go ahead and do the risk first, and we'll see what else happens. Okay. So this mostly works, but there may be a difference based upon I will veto something. So you tell me most of what happens there.
Okay, so taking the sight of the people, he quickly backtracks through the building that he's in 49, jumps down, and as he's whispering, he continues to speak through his watch. And as he's talking, he says, "We need to get Vivian here. We need to talk to this next group as they come out or come in. We need to be able to track them. It's the Willow Grove Training Center. They're wherever the boys' tracker went. I'm going to ride this one and see where it goes. But as he's talking, and if you want to make this your veto, I was going to say he breaks his watch.
Well, yeah, that was more. Yeah, that's your great minds think alike. Because when you get under the car, you're basically setting yourself up, and as the car sort of pulls out, it actually starts to pull forward, and then basically jerks like there's like a gear that wasn't like completely engaged properly, and so your hand smashes against the road, and basically you hear this crack. And you guys all hear this, like this feedback thing, like in your earpiece. Even those of you who are not like immediately close to it, you're like, oh God. And then there is just static and silence from Benjamin.
Well, shit.
Yeah. Well, okay. There needs to be 2 and 2 for us to have any kind of cover. So.
And the car, by the way, as it starts to move in exactly the same direction that the other one did. So it's heading down towards the west, and then begins to take a right onto the large street. And as you're feeling, you're holding yourself just underneath it. The car is pretty loud. The engine's pretty loud. But you've done this sort of thing before, Benjamin. You know, this is classic Shade stuff. But as you were sort of turning, you can feel that the car is beginning to accelerate. Now, Stasi, they're all gone dead, obviously, but you now see the car that Benjamin mentioned beginning to drive down this. Let me get rid of this thing. Down Landsberger. So basically, it's starting to move down this direction this way. So, what do you want to do?
I wanted to do so many things while that was happening, but oh well.
You can tell me things that you were doing while that was happening. That's fine.
So yeah, I would have been waiting for Vivian to get there.
I would say that Vivian is pretty close to getting there. Not okay. Damien, though. He's a little farther behind.
Yeah.
Oh, I was waiting for Damien.
Oh, well, then she's not going to get there. And then Vivian and Damien are definitely together, but not, sadly, with Stasi. Yes, I buy that.
I mean, okay, as they're coming, I'm just like, well, do we want to get the car and just go? Because there's not even numbers, so I don't think we can go in.
I think I have an idea.
I love ideas.
Oh, good. I'm pretty good with those too. If so, the car is gonna take. It took a straight. It didn't go straight there. It went all around the city. But we know where it's gonna be, and there's only one road to where it's gonna be. And if we throw like spikes on the ground, they'll pop the tires, and then they'll have to stop.
Yeah.
But we don't have a car then.
I could, just talk someone into it.
Okay.
Now, if you're going to do this, you're going to need some way to get there before they do. So,
what they're going.
So my logic is if they're going all over the town, we just go straight down the one road.
Spot. I got you. Okay.
Throw spikes
at a leisurely pace.
Yeah, at a casual jaunt.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. So you're going to go do that. Are you though trying to get a car to do that, or are you going to try to basically, because they do go all the way around, but it doesn't take 2 hours for them to do it. So are you going directly, just basically kind of running down the street to get to where you need to go?
Yeah, so like the blinking beacon was like in a this way general direction, right?
Correct, and it's still blinking as far as that goes.
Yeah, so I would say we come to like this here, right? Whatever this orange line is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And that's like, I assume this like wooded area on the sides, and we would hide there and like throw spikes in the ground. Like
Okay.
pythons.
That sounds good. I think you're going to be able to do that. So you're going to throw spikes in the ground.
Could you set it up to where it wouldn't blow all the tires?
Yeah, we can't use the car if you blow all the tires.
I mean, they might have at least one spare, but maybe.
Let's say yes and see what Arv says.
I'll allow that if you take a risk for me.
Okay.
So we'll have you throw the spikes. When the car passes, will be when I actually do the risk. So you set yourself up on the sides, the three of you. In the meantime, Benjamin, as the car has been accelerating, it strikes you that the car is accelerating and then is beginning to, as has been mentioned before, turn around. So basically, take rights, lefts, all the way around, speed up, slow down. And in some of these cases, you are reminded again about the problem of European streets. A lot of 1960s European streets have cobblestones. You know what I'm saying? A lot of cobblestones. So there's a lot of places where these cars, the shock absorbers for which were never that great. I've driven in a 2005 Opel, and I can tell you the shock absorbers sucked on those, let alone what you get on a 1960s version. So you are like perilously close to banging your back into the bottom of the street, like kind of teeth rattling, like as you're going along. But you doggedly hang on regardless. And then finally it straightens out and begins to move down the street to where you folks all are. As the car gets to about, let's say here, you folks see, the three of you, Vivian, Stasi, and Damien, see the car moving down the highway towards you, going again at a pretty good clip, but not ridiculous, like 40, 50 miles an hour probably. And Damien, you toss the spikes out. Now we're going to take a risk and see whether or not you did it the right way. You, by the way, have about 5 minutes before another mission point is going to be used up. So up to you if you want to use them or not. But
I was about to say, yeah. Yeah, go ahead, Damien. You start. Let's start by getting them to stop.
So yes, mission point or no?
No.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Damn.
19.
19. Wow. All right. Like that. Yeah. I mean, like you tell me, like you put them, you set it up, like you lay down a pattern, serpentine. Like how do you?
Yeah. So essentially, I have just the most impeccable aim ever. No, I would have had these set up in the street because this is a very important thing, and especially since Strassi asked for something specifically. But essentially, they look like they're like spring loaded, so they kind of press down into the ground, so you wouldn't normally see them. And then as soon as you like roll over them, it pops out like a syringe into the tire and carries with the tire. That way it doesn't risk hitting the back tires. So only the front two tires, I would say. Actually, if we can, only the front, 19, screw it. Only the front one tire blows.
Okay.
It just loaded up with these spikes and then punctures in several spots.
When it blows, of course, the car dips a little bit, and Benjamin, you feel like your back is now just scraping along the bottom, like just barely holding yourself above it, and you hear this and you hear sort of the commotion above you, like people are sort of talking to each other, and then the car pulls over a little way past where you were, like maybe right about here to the right side, and a couple people get out to start looking. Now, there's 2 men, 2 women, by the way, Stasi, Vivian, and Damien, and Benjamin, you are now underneath the car, which is now stopped.
Stasia, I know you were great with math back home, but you only have 2 fists and there's 4 people. Can you punch all of them until they stop moving?
Yes.
Okay, I think you're up.
Okay. I will try to, if we're in the wooded area, sneak up behind them, and maybe what I do is I take, if 2 of them are standing together, like, ooh, what happened to this tire? Well, pull their heads into each other.
Okay, why don't you take a risk for me? This, you're not actually quite able to sneak because you were on the other side of the road from where they stopped, but you can still, come out somewhat from behind them, so yes.
Cool. 18.
Wow, you guys are you are on point today. All right, so is that what you do? Like, waboom?
Insta out. Just crack their heads into each other, crumple to the ground.
So they drop. Now there's 2 more people. They sort of make a and there's 2 more people that are in the car. They haven't moved. You just got the 2 that are there. They may not even know that happened yet. So.
Okay. Vivian stands up and kind of tries to make eyes with Stasi as she finishes crunching heads.
Like this.
I give you the eye, and our signal for play along, and Vivian runs up to the car. Oh my God! She slings herself on the hood.
Okay, there are 2. So there is 1 man in the front passenger seat, 1 woman in the back, and the man kind of looks at you like, what? What is this? He says, and he speaks. You notice he's speaking in German here.
Oh, he's speaking in German. Okay, Vivian will join him in German.
Okay.
She's pretty fluent in the German.
In the German. Yes. Everyone suspend disbelief, chat. Okay. Like.
Yeah. Yeah. And she goes, oh, they tried to attack me. And she's just trying to make a scene to get them out of the car so that Stasi could sneak up behind them.
So the one is like, well, who tried to attack you? What are you talking about? Get off of my car. Get off the car.
She goes, please help me. I'm so injured. And I'm going to like slide down just my hand, like running down the window. So he can't see me anymore unless he gets out.
Okay, so
Titanic style.
I love it.
One of the people behind them says, the woman in the back pasture says, you better go see to him then. And he says, just scheiße. And he gets out of the, opens the car door, walks up over to you. You're sort of slumped over. She has not gotten out of the back seat yet, but he is out with the door open.
Okay.
Stasi, what do you want to?
Can I, if he is distracted
Yes.
by Vivi, can I what I'd love to do is do a side kick with my boot dagger, but to his neck.
The boot dagger to the neck. Yeah. Yes. You know what? He's literally not paying any attention, so I'm not going to make you take a risk on this. So he is too focused on trying to figure out what the heck is going on. So you just boot dagger to the neck. And Benjamin, you from underneath the car hear, and then there's a slam as his body hits the car. And in the back you hear, oh! As clearly the last, of the four people is kind of like, what? And
Followed by
right. Well, so she now starts scrambling for something. You don't know exactly what.
Okay.
But yeah.
We see this though?
You don't. But I think Stasi does.
Yeah. Okay. Well, can I open the door then?
Sure. You see she's fumbling in her purse for something.
No, I don't like when people fumble for things. So can I get on her? I'm gonna get on her and straddle her and hold her arms down at her sides and then headbutt her.
Let me think. In a European back seat, can you do this?
Very close. I'm very intimate with my victims.
You're very intimate with your victims. Yeah, I guess so. So you're trying to you're trying to headbutt her?
Yes. While restraining her arms.
Okay, I'm going to have you take a risk for this one.
Okay.
I love that I didn't have you take a risk for the boot dagger, but I am going to have you take a risk for this.
18, Arvin, 18.
Nice.
You guys are killing it. All right. Well, I mean, obviously it works, right? What do you do?
Right.
Yeah, I do exactly what I said. I open the door, see her fumbling, scooch in, use my massively strong thighs to pin her arms down and then headbutt her in the face.
And she just hits the and just blood coming out of her nose. And all right, so you now have boot dagger neck guy dead. You've got two people who are lying unconscious on the ground, and her with blood pouring out of her nose, leaning back on the back seat.
Vivian goes, quickly, put them in the trunk.
I love putting bodies in trunks.
I know.
In Moldova, that's good luck. Yeah.
We just discussing the man you just killed.
Oh, is Ben alive?
Yeah, Benjamin, are you pulling yourself out?
There he is.
Hi, everybody.
Here, Benjamin's a little bit disheveled. I think it's fair to say. After that, but
I'll
still
change
okay.
the tire. I didn't want these people to get away. I broke my watch. I didn't think they could do this at 47, wherever that place was. 47 Rodestrasse. I figured it would turn into boots to the neck and headbutts into submission. So
It still did.
yeah, well, and he looks around. This is a wooded area, correct? We're in some type of
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
it's yay.
Yeah, Vivi
Yeah,
goes, we must hurry. Stopped here, one of them will catch us. Damien, can you fix his watch? Stasi, get the bodies in the back.
I put their bodies in the trunk.
Who was
Yeah,
Fast.
I changed the tire.
I was about to say, and who was driving? Was it, I'm guessing it was a male?
It was, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, one of them will have to drive. Benjamin, you should drive.
Okay, Benjamin, as he's changing the tire, Damien, it's possible you can repair this, but it's going to be pretty tough. There is, I mean, you still have a mission point left to use, which is going to be used up very shortly. But you could, if you wanted, you could risk roll if you want to try to take a risk to try to fix the watch.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a roll.
Okay. Are you using the mission point or no?
Might as well use it. It's almost time for this. You might as well go ahead.
Okay, and so that just adds 1 dice.
Correct. Unless you want to do the automatic, it always works. Jesus.
No, I'm gonna go with that.
Wow. All right. So you actually like just
We're gonna go with
form watches out of the air. I was like, bow, like here, have a watch.
Yeah, I make new watches. I Tony Stark them before Tony Stark exists.
God, man.
God damn, this is better than the first one.
Right?
It's my portable watch. Yeah. Yeah,
Hold on,
exactly.
I pull out my Tinker's
You
kit.
actually form a grandfather clock. You're just like,
Yeah.
here, have this thing. All right, yeah. So you are able to repair it down to, by the way, 4 mission points is quick.
So you know what? I'm gonna say, since I have a 24, I'm gonna repair the shit out of that watch, and then the dial that like you would normally like use to twist the watch, that comes out, and it has a single dose of some kind of poison
Okay.
for Ben Voss.
Okay. All right. So you install the poisonous watch.
Yeah, it's non-lethal because only Strassi's a murderer so far.
So
That you've seen.
Yeah.
that you know of.
Yeah.
Okay. So
You're
God.
welcome.
I didn't get a proper back brief on what happened before. I just showed up and
That's
Was
true.
pretty cool.
this is how we do things. All right. So you hand over the watch to them. The bodies are now in the trunk. And now, if you wish, you continue to move along. Also, are you just throwing the bodies in the trunk? Are you doing anything with the bodies? Or are you just like?
I would say
I guess
that,
they're papers.
yeah. I would say Vivian helps to bind them.
Okay. As
She
far
has
as
learned rope tricks.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Ooh.
as far as the
Yes.
papers are concerned, you see that on the papers are they have what looks like American driver's licenses actually, and the driver's licenses correspond to Charles Cooper, Gloria Cabot, Edward Gordon, and Susie Smith. These are the names that you see on the driver's licenses.
These are our new names.
Can I be Susie?
You have to be.
Yes.
Yeah.
What does that make me? What was the other one? Gloria?
Gloria Cabot.
Gloria Cabot.
I'll take Eddie Gordon.
Okay.
Charles Cooper.
All right.
Bad.
So you now have that and are able to head off, if you wish, down the way towards.
Do you want me
your
to
next
kill them
destination.
real quick? They're
No,
defenseless.
we will bind them and gag them and leave them in the trunk.
They're defenseless, though.
They are also defenseless, bound, gagged, left in the trunk. If we
Ben
I
goes
can,
ar-
I can do some pretty cool things bound and gagged.
if we
Ben goes around the back with the fire iron, and when the trunk lid is up, he says, "No," he says very loudly, "No, don't kill them. We're humanitarians." And as soon as the lid is covering the rest of them, he goes, "Kill them, kill them."
Okay.
We get them kicking stuff and giving us away. Just murder them.
You've never steered me wrong, Ben.
Right.
I twist their necks, the ones that are alive.
All right. You have some dead people in the back. Dead people now in the truck.
Horrible.
Oh man.
well, that happened. Okay. Vivian calls shotgun. I'm sorry.
Did I mention the pictures of the children in their wallet? I didn't. I'm just joking.
It's like when you play the stealth video game and you accidentally kill the one guy and you're like, screw it, and you just kill everybody.
Yeah, exactly,
That's-
that everybody
that's
dies.
Strassi by default.
Everybody dies. All right. Now one thing I want to mention about this, by the way, the trunk. You can fit them all in, but it's a tight fit in the back of the trunk.
She breaks them.
So sorry. Okay, that's
I
fine.
said she breaks them.
Oh god. Wow. Okay. So you break them all to fit. This is the
I don't
this
have
is-
bloodlust.
This is the assignment on torture team. All right. Torture possible. So, all right, you put them all
They were
in.
already dead when I folded them.
No, I know that's true. That was right. The killing wasn't the
At
problem.
that point, it's like a taco. It's
Yeah,
already-
sure.
It's meat.
So, all right, you have them in the trunk, and you begin to head along your way. Now, are you heading directly down the road at this point towards the training center, or where you think it is, or what?
I think Yeah, I think Damien will turn to Ben and say, "Hey, did you come straight here? Or did you ride around for a while?"
There was a lot of turning,
Okay.
a lot of cobblestone streets, a lot of like pucker factor 11.
Yeah.
But it's okay now. So I think that, they were taking European streets, trying to lose any tails. They probably had a pattern they followed. If you can get us to wherever they were going, I think that if they were following a pattern, if we go straight there, it'll compensate time-wise for the blown tire.
Yeah.
We'll still be getting there the same time as somebody that followed a kind of windy pattern.
Pucker factor. Yeah, no, if we go straight, we
Maybe
should
like an even 12 at some points. It was dicey. It was
Okay. Yeah, I think if we go straight. So to be clear, they didn't pull off at the Willow Grove training station.
No. They pulled off early after they hit your.
Oh yeah,
spike
no,
thing.
he's telling them this.
Sorry.
It's just up here. I think there's a place where they're parking the cars and moving in. So for the record, the blood of the guy that you stabbed in the neck isn't gonna leak out of the car, right?
Oh, you know what might be a good idea is to also strip them and change into their clothes, and then we can use our clothes to make sure it doesn't seep through. Damien, you get undressed first.
Well, you did just put all of them in the trunk with the guy who was squirting blood out of his neck. So that
Yeah, no, no, we shouldn't do that. We should leave them.
yeah.
Well, what were they wearing?
They were wearing very plain-looking. The men brown suits, the women gray dresses. Very sort of, plain, nondescript.
Okay,
type
do they
of
look
outfits.
plain or do they look uniform?
I would not say uniform. I would say
Okay.
plain.
Okay, cool. Cool. No, just leave them and I will, put them in such a way. Only one of them is bleeding.
We can also hurry before it soaks through.
Great idea. I love going really fast. Let's go.
Okay. So you are dressing as them or no?
No.
Okay.
Screw it.
All right. So you begin to head off again. Now, when you get to the point where the sensor is, you have a decision to make because Damien, where the sensor is telling you is sort of right. You're being led to this one spot. However, you can see what looks like there is basically there's this wooded area, as you mentioned along here. There's a small little dirt path that kind of leads down to the spot where, I'll draw it here, leads down to the spot where the thing is blinking, where the sensor was blinking previously.
Mm-hmm.
But the road also continues further on to the east.
And when we go to this, is it a car park? Is there like a bunch of cars parked here already?
Yes, so when you get down there, there is a clearing, basically, and there are a number of cars there. There is also a path, a dirt path that is wide enough for a car, leading from where the cars are parked. And by the way, there's a number of them, a good 15 or 16 cars here already. And then there is a path that leads off to the east, but it's wide enough that you could drive it if you want. Depending on how fast the other cars are going to be coming, you did lose some time with the tire, etc.
It seems that the cars are being left here. We should follow their. We should do as they do.
Yeah. Actually, Arv, if there's a path leading away from this place, are there tire tracks?
No.
I assume in Berlin everything's wet and muddy.
That is more or less true, but there are no tire tracks on this path.
Okay. Yeah. Then he points it out and says, I think we walk from here.
Yeah, foot from here.
Okay. You folks walk to the east following this dirt path and eventually find yourself at what looks like it looks almost like a gated compound, essentially. And yet there is a gated compound with the gate that's just sort of wide open. The outside of it just has a sign that says Willow Grove. And then the path leads past this place. You don't see any obvious guards or indeed any movement at all. But the inside of this place, beyond like where the sign Willow Grove is, looks odd. It looks very much not wooded and not barracks-y. It looks like an American Main Street. And if you want to go into that spot, I'm going to show you exactly what it looks like, but it depends if you want it. You don't see any obvious guards waiting at the open gates, and it's just the sign that you see that I mentioned that says Willow Grove.
Awesome. What I want to do real quick is, as we're leaving, if this is a big row of cars that have come in and kind of parked in like a loose parking lot,
Correct.
With the entrance being a small path on the way out,
Right.
with the exception of the car that we arrived in, he's going to go, and the last row of cars that are kind of parked there, he's going to take his knife into each of the tires of those cars, not ours. So if there's people trying to all get out of here at once, there's going to be a row of cars that aren't going to be able to move.
Got it.
And
Okay.
with the exception of ours. So
Okay, got it. You can do that for sure. Okay, so are you folks walking up to this empty gate, looking to get a better look at the whatever the inside is, or not?
I would say Vivian goes, they don't know that we're not them. I say we walk.
Super casual, like.
Well, Gloria Cabot is ready to drink the Kool-Aid, which I don't think is a reference we even have yet. And she continues walking down the path. Vivian's going to go in right in the gate.
Okay.
Hey, Strassi, for the record, I think killing anyone in the open here is going to be a bad plan.
Oh, do you think so?
I think so.
Bad plan for whom?
Everyone?
All right.
It's-
And then he starts walking after Vivian.
I know when to kill people, Dave.
I want to show you guys what you see.
I know the opportune moment to kill a man, okay?
Wait, on the inside of this compound?
Yes. Once you get past this gate, you see this. It looks for all the world like a main street in an American town. There are cars that are lined both sides of it. You see several people crossing that dressed are in what, bobby socks, you think? There's a drugstore, a souvenir shop, a couple of restaurants, like diner type of places leading down there. You see people sort of chatting with each other pleasantly. There is a guy standing at the front porch, looks like sweeping the front porch, looks like maybe like a grocer or like a general store owner. And in the middle of the street is a boarded up theater. You can actually see there's an empty sign that's there, but it's a boarded up theater with an empty sign on the top of it. And as you're sort of walking into this place, just kind of marveling, because it literally is just like you just suddenly walked into Missouri. Like, what? Like, you're just in the middle of this place. As you're walking down around this place, you notice that there's people there, and you see off in one sort of corner there is what looks like a small basketball court, basically like a half court. And there are two people that are basically playing one-on-one basketball, is what it looks like. And one of them notices you as you're sort of walking down the street slowly, kind of looking around you. And he goes up and he takes a shot, which he hits. And then he sort of smiles at the guy, punches him in the shoulder, and comes running over and he says, "Hi, my name is John Peterson." And he looks like the picture of Janusz Pasek. He says,
Looks like him?
well, it's either him or it's his clone. It looks exactly like the picture. And he says, "My name's John Peterson. I'm sort of in charge here." Sounds completely American, flat Midwestern accent. I know you're all probably tired and so on, but I assume you're the next four. What are your names, please? Sounds very pleasant. He's wearing a sweatshirt, by the way, that actually says State U on it.
it says college.
So, yeah. It says fraternity brother on it.
I am no, I'm Gloria Cabot.
He says, Gloria, good to see you. And the rest of you?
I'm Edward Gordon.
All right, Edward. I think I've heard that name before. What about these two?
I'm Charles Cooper, and this is Susie.
Oh, Susie. You must be, it was Susie Jones, wasn't it? Susie Jones?
Yep.
Nope. Smith.
Oh, Susie Smith. He gives you sort of a wry smile. He's kind of like, oh, that's good. I don't know what I would have thought if you were actually a Susie Jones. And he kind of holds your gaze for just a minute, just enough for you to feel a little uncomfortable, and then turns around and he's kind of like, all right, well, I think you've already seen a little bit of what we've done to the place. Why don't you follow me? Head back to my office. We need to have a chat, I think. and he the guy that he's playing with, he says, Bobby, you can just shoot some hoops a little bit by yourself, right? And Bobby sort of nods at you. Benjamin, you get a weird vibe, and actually Stasi too. Benjamin and Stasi get a weird vibe out of Bobby. Bobby also is dressed, he's got, sort of the regular 60s basketball shorts and sneakers and socks and whatever. And he's got a jersey on, but he has this strange kind of stare. He nods, but he doesn't have, like, Peterson or whoever he is all smiles and kindness and happiness. Bobby is just like, nodding like, okay, type of thing. Like, doesn't say anything, doesn't smile. And you think that there's tension there, although you don't know why.
Did any of that sound like code? Like shoot some hoops, like get everybody together, round these guys up?
Not clear. First of all, thank you, Hilnis, so much. Let's see. This should have been last Friday. Thanks for the resub, dude. I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Could get some hypes for Hilnis. Thanks, dude. We will be seeing Hilnis at Gen Con as well. Thank you, man. Great. I have you 13 months in a row. Jeez. That is crazy. And a tier 3 sub again, man. Wow. Dude, thank you. Hilnis is the Mac Daddy Mac. Thanks, man, so much. All right. So, you don't know whether it feels like a code to you. But this whole place creeps you out. It's like everything could be a code. Like it's, it's really
like
weird.
Twin Peaks.
Yes, because the accents because his accent in particular, Peterson's is just perfect. Like he's out of central casting, So Peterson begins to lead you down to his office, and as he goes, he sort of says, "Yep, well, they've all started to arrive at this point. It's good. We've been, waiting for this day for quite a while. If you need anything, by the way, you should head over to Doc's General Store right over there." And he waves to the guy who was sweeping in front of his store, who waves back. And he says, Doc's a good guy. He'll set you up with whatever you need. Obviously, if you've got any medical problems, you can go just talk to Joe at the infirmary. And he, points to Joe at the infirmary. A lot of good people there. Also, the nurse there, nurse whose name is Francine. Francine's the best. And she'll definitely help you out if you need it. And then he keeps walking down. He's just pointing out different spots of it. He's like, yep. He's like, this is our small little town, but we like to think of it as home. And he comes up to the building, this building, which is just sort of looks kind of like a small, I wouldn't say a house, but basically looks like a storefront almost, although it doesn't seem to have a whole lot inside the plate glass window. You don't see a whole lot. And he opens the door and he says, after you, ma'am. And he points to you, Vivian, and sort of opens the door and kind of gestures to let you go by.
She plays the part, thank you, and walks through.
That's good. Now who goes next?
What building is this?
It's the farthest, so you passed the theater, as I mentioned. It's like 3 buildings past that at the end of this main street. So basically there's like 7 or 8 buildings on each side of the street, kind of going all the way back. This is like building 8 on the left, like all the way back. Oh, and also I should mention, beyond it, trees.
Like the same trees that were alongside the road, or?
You bet.
Okay, well that's comforting. Who even knows? Last question. Does it look like anybody that we passed? If Stasi's more toward the back and she like stretches, does it look like anybody's like, is there a bunch of people watching us, or did everybody desert the street, or does it look like everything's still normal?
There are a number of people that are walking around this town, crossing the street, chatting with each other, going into and out of stores, getting into and out of cars. They don't seem to be staring at you, but there's a good number of people. I'm talking like 50, 60 people in the immediate vicinity that are in this sort of general area moving around. And any of them could be watching. I'll put it this way, Stasi, to do that, you would have to make it clear that you were kind of looking at them, because they're not obviously following you, or
Okay, very last question. The ones that he pointed out and waved at, have they gone somewhere else?
No, they're standing in the same spot that they were. Yep.
Okay.
I mean, you're kind
Okay,
of you're almost out of sight lines of
Yeah.
Bobby in quotes, so you don't know where he went, but
I have one question.
sure.
Is anything on this street? He's not looking. As soon as he started pointing and waving to people and shit, Benjamin is looking at the area to see if there's anything that looks like it's out of place, something not quite right. Someone doesn't have the right shoes on. Those aren't American shoes. They're a knockoff, a Spanish knockoff of American tennis shoes. Anything that's not right, all the license plate on that car, those are old Missouri plates. The new plates don't look like that. Something like that. Just if there's any element of this facade that isn't exact, Benjamin wants to be able to draw that, or however many there are, and see if there is something like that that's not right.
The one thing that you note for sure is that of all of the places in town, if you just sort of woke up out of a coma and sort of stood up, it would feel like you were in the middle of an American small town in any number of states, sort of in the middle of this fine land of ours. However, the one place that does not have movement in or out, does not have people standing, talking, going inside of it, outside of it, is the theater. There is no movement around the theater. There's no motion around the theater. There's nobody walking in or out of the theater. It seems to be, as I said, boarded up and closed, and there's no activity going on around the theater. It looks like a boarded up American theater, but it's the only place here that does not have a obvious flurry of activity around it.
As he kind of ushers me through the door, and I do step through the door frame, I guess you would, or the doorway.
Yep.
I would like to stop and lean and look at him, and I do want to try to get some more information out of him. And I say something, we're so new. What is there here in town to do?
And he says, oh, well, that's information, of course, that I'm happy to give you. I know that you need to have the grand tour. I've shown you most of what we got in the town, but, the details, that's something that we'll save for inside the office. And as for what to do, it's just learn to be the best American you can, if you know what I mean, sweetheart.
Oh, we do. We do, in fact, know all about that. That's why we're here. That's why we're here.
He's like, well, don't I know it, Gloria? And I'm glad to have you here, of course.
Yes. I am one. I have heard that those Americans really love entertainment.
He's like, Gloria, please. We're not talking about those Americans. Remember, you are American here.
That's right. As an American, I really love entertainment. What here in town is there? I don't know. The movie, a drive-in, a theater, maybe?
He gives you this sort of half smile, and he says, well, that, of course, is information that you're going to receive. You're going to need to learn quite a bit about entertainment and about how it works around here. There's many ways, of course, to occupy your time. You've got basketball courts. You've got some baseball that we'll be talking about later on. You've got certainly the sock hop that we try to do once a week down here, down on the side of the road, down there at Doc's store in the back. And, things of that nature. Of course, we listen to radio shows quite a bit around here, but all of that information will be presented to you at the proper time. But, of course, everything has its time and place. But believe me, I'm glad you're asking these questions. It's that curiosity that really kind of marks you as having the true American spirit.
Of course. I can't imagine. Now, this office, we're going to be having a briefing with other new Americans.
He says, well, you're going to be having a briefing, of course, yourself, and just to sort of set you up and get yourself ready. And by the way, I should point out that briefing is kind of on a time schedule. You understand we have a lot of other people. Our town's growing by leaps and bounds every hour, it seems. And
oh, yes,
so we're going to need to move along here a little bit, Gloria.
Yes. Oh, I'm so sorry to...
It's quite all right. It's quite
delay.
all right. I appreciate the
my
enthusiasm,
excitement
though.
just...
Oh, I can tell. I have to
It's
trust
just,
me.
I'm just so excited about being an American.
He smiles. He said, "Of course you are.
Of course
you
I
are."
am.
And he turns around, like you clearly are about to say something, and he kind of turns around from you and says, all right, well, everyone else, if you could just gather in here. And he's still holding the door. Now, who goes next?
Ladies first.
Okay. No, I don't make that sound. She makes it in her head. And yeah, I'm gonna just kind of, not really, like, just kind of like looking around, like maybe not making direct eye contact.
Okay.
Just like looking around, following Vivi in, and immediately taking in the surroundings inside.
Okay. As you go in, Damien, I assume you're the next person to go since you were holding
Yeah.
the door. And he says, I want to tell you, oh God, let me remember who you were. You were, what the hell were you? Not Charles Cooper.
Edward Gordon.
You're Edward Gordon, that's right. And he says, Eddie, I have to say, I give you credit. That's advanced thinking right there. You do want to make sure that you keep chivalry alive. It's a very important part of how we work here. Good work, son. And he sort of peers in.
I thought about it. I prefer Gordo.
He says, I'm sure you do, Eddie, but we're going to keep it Eddie for now.
Okay.
And he sort of gestures, as if to say continue. And then as you're going on, Benjamin, as you enter, he says, Charlie, I hope your drive here wasn't too difficult.
Well, I thought we'd keep it Charles.
He says, you got to understand, Charles, that in America, sometimes people like to change names around a little bit, but if you want to keep it Charles, I'm okay with that for the moment. How was the drive, Charles?
Well, we got a flat.
He says, I'm sorry to hear that. How did that happen?
Poor craftsmanship. It was an American car.
He smiles and he says, that's the spirit there, Charles. That's the spirit. And okay, so he now, as you go by, he sort of follows you into what is obviously now, as I mentioned, blank storefront. Then you got the back, and then you got the door that leads to this, what apparently is his office. When you walk in, this whole place looks like, again, I mentioned sort of out of central casting. So there's like a set of cabinets behind him with books. There's a big oak desk on the top of which are a stand of like 2 or 3 American flags, basically sort of sitting out of it. And then there's a globe, sort of a world globe with several pins in it. And he's got other sort of maps and things like that that are around the area, but they all seem to be showing different parts of what looks like the center of America. And you notice that there's one big map that's on the desk that is a map of America that has pins in, like, if you had to guess particular locations, you need to get a little closer to see exactly what those locations are, but there's definitely locations that have been pinned on this map. And so as you all sort of pile in, there's 4 chairs there, and he sort of smiles and he says, please, my friends, have a seat here.
Arv, explain to me how special abilities work again.
If you want to do a special ability, it basically means you use a mission point and you are telling me, I have exactly this item that will do this awesome thing. Now that is within limits. In other words, you can't be like, hey, I just found a tactical nuke. But the point is, like, if you have like something that you really need to pick a lock and like you just absolutely can't screw around with it, you can have like the goddamn greatest lockpick of all recorded lockpicks, right? And you can do that by using the special ability. So, and it's the same thing for each of your specials. Like Stasi becomes like, Bruce Lee, and like Benjamin is a shadow, is a smoke on the wind, and Vivian is Marlene Dietrich and like 5 other amazing actresses thrown together at the same time, and Joan Crawford and so on.
So table, I don't want to steal one of these points, but I want this information in this room.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
What do you want to try to do with your...
So mine is I can have any equipment that I need. So like my glasses, as opposed to Ben's sweet glasses, are a microfiche camera.
The camera piece is cool. I like that.
Okay. You want to go ahead and do that?
I kind of put that to the vote. I don't want to steal one of these points. If you guys have saved them for a reason.
No, I think that's worthwhile. use of it is to like collect some information to be able to send back.
Yeah, like the town's weird, but the fact that he has places pinned, that is important, I think.
Vivian, he invited her in. She walks over and instead of taking a seat, she notes very blatantly the map on the table.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm gonna spend a point for microfiche cam vote.
Okay. Sounds good. All right, so you guys are down to 3 mission points, so you note that. You do that. So you basically are able to use this here. So what are you basically creating? Is it a recording device, or are you using something?
It's a camera, right? So it takes like it's microfilm, and it just takes pictures of documents or whatever the lens sees.
What are you specifically trying to take pictures of? Because I'll let you take pictures of a lot of things, but you've got to specify. Like,
so you said there was a globe with pins in it, and there's a large map with pins in it.
And a large map with pins in it.
Yeah, basically anything that has pins in it is the specificity there.
Yeah.
Because like the fact that he's demarcating places, that sticks out to Daniel. That place is important.
Not unlike the pins themselves. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Right.
You can absolutely do that. Okay. All right, you do that, and as you are all sort of looking at this and sit down to notice it, who is it that was noting this? Vivian, was it you that was particularly noting it? Vivian, these pins are set in Los Angeles, New York, Chicago, Seattle, and you think several ones also possibly New Orleans. You don't get a quick look at it, but Washington, D.C., they look to be all set in major population centers, basically. Like that's where all the pins are placed.
Okay.
And as you were all sort of sitting down the floor, he says, all right, so as I said, my name is John Peterson. I'm sort of in charge here. I know you're all, like I said, probably tired, and so I'll try to make this short and sweet. So this is the final stage of your training. You're all expert at playing Americans, or you wouldn't be here. And when you leave here, you're going to be perfect. In addition to myself, there's a cadre of monitors to help you. They'll be observing you all the time. Please ignore them unless they correct you for some reason. And you can identify them by this pin. And he points to a pin which is on his lapel. And the pin is a cross of a hammer and sickle over a United States flag. So he points to that.
And Damien adjusts his glasses to see clearly and takes a picture of that as well.
Okay, like, all right. He says, from time to time, be aware we will hit you with the unexpected. We'll be testing you. That's the way this works here. And when that happens, please remember, just be yourself. Gives you a dazzling smile. You're all part of a very important and ambitious project, and nothing has been spared here to help you achieve perfection. You have seen that we have created a town that is as typically exactly American as anything you'll encounter when you actually get to America. And I know you're excited to actually go there. So, any questions?
Yes. What is it exactly that we're doing when we get there?
He says, well, I mean, of course, his eyes kind of narrow. You should have remembered the mission briefing, right? You could see sorry, Vivian, there's a hint of malice in his voice, like the sound of a dagger being slid from its sheath.
She says, oh no, of course I should. I'm simply wanting reiteration. I am a little bit of a perfectionist, and I want to make sure I do the job well.
He sort of narrows his eyes, and then he smiles widely. He says, good. Very good. You passed the first test. You see, there'll be people who will question you about things sometimes, and you need to be ready to answer that just in the right way. So, I'm glad that you were able to pass that. And it's a good question, of course. I was getting to your jobs. Now, let me see. And he picks up a couple of papers from his desk and shuffles through them. Charles, he points at you, Benjamin. Oh, excuse me again. I forgot. He says Charlie first. He says, I'm sorry. I remember. Charles is what we planned on. Charles, you're going to be working at Wrigley Field in Chicago. You'll be one of the vendors there. Ed, you're going to be doing fry cook work at a hamburger stand at Coney Island in New York. Should be a lot of fun. Get a lot of sun out there. And then he says, Elena. Not Elena. Sorry, that was not at all. That was Susie. There we go. That's too many goddamn names. He says, Susie, you are going to be... these three here. Susie, you are going to be working at a retail clerk right over here at a small little clothing boutique in Los Angeles. Really lovely place here. And Miss Cabot, you will be a dancer at Tiger A Go-Go in Philadelphia. Oh, that reminds me, you will attend classes in your job's mornings and afternoons, meals at any of our 4 typical restaurants. You'll also be living, by the way, at the women's dormitory, which is the Willow Grove Hotel. You'll be able to find it when you leave out of here. You're just going to take a right. It'll be right across the street over there, down on your left. And as soon as you found your room, you should report to our little discotheque across the street, and that way we can make ourselves feel real good about how things are going to work here. By the way, you, of course, won't be staying all in the same room. One of you will have the 3rd floor room, one of you the 2nd floor. We try to divide by sex. America does things differently than we do, but we want to make sure we don't move too quickly, if you understand what I mean. Well, go ahead, Vivian, if you're going to say something. No? So he just, so he sort of smiles at all of you. He says, boy, I feel good about you 4. I think it's going to work out. After you've had your lunch, by the way, I'm going to need you to report for your classes. There are schedules posted in your living quarters, and I hope you enjoy your stay here. So, Ed,
course.
Susie, Gloria, and Charles, good luck to you all, and he sort of reaches out his hand to shake. He looks in the general direction of you, Damien, so he holds out his hand to shake your hand.
I do have a request, if I may. I fancy myself a bit of a cat person. Is there a pet store? Can I get it?
He says, well, it's a good American thing to want a pet, but, cats? I mean, I've got to be honest with you. Most of the time, we're thinking about dogs. Good.
Do you have dogs? I'm not opposed to one.
Oh, absolutely. We definitely want you to be able to get used to pets, but we don't actually have them right now. There is some danger of, we want to sort of keep things in an enclosed sense here. We don't want any kind of cultural contamination, you might say.
That's fair. I understand. And he takes his hand and shakes it.
Okay. And he nods and he says, all right then. He says, you can kind of make your way over, and good luck to you all then.
Thank you. Right, gang?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's very rude of me. You had mentioned where we live, but do we have places of employment in the town?
He says, it's more classes. You'll be learning how to actually do these jobs that we'll be sending you to. But that's the basic idea.
Okay. Thank you.
And he smiles and he says, no, thank you. As you know, you're doing really important work.
Of course.
Okay, and then assuming that you do, you will, you're going to be, assuming you all leave at that point. So you allow him to you all 4 of you kind of depart the room. And as the door closes behind you, you have a moment where you can sort of chat with each other, if you wish.
Not anywhere near that door.
So am I to understand that they're putting together this, facility to brainwash Russians into being Americans?
They're already brainwashed. They're getting them ready to send over.
I'll be honest, I don't want to be a dancer.
No, but you would be very good at it.
Thanks, Stassi, but it is one of the lowest forms of entertainment.
Your name is Susie.
Right, Susie.
I will admit, I'm a little intrigued by being at Wrigley Field every day, but
There's also
This is
the
not a second life opportunity, people.
Hey, I know this is like day 2. I don't think they're brainwashed. I think they're what we are, but for them. They're like a cell.
You think that they're trading spies
Yes.
to go undercover?
No, I think they're already spies.
we're surrounded by a town full of enemy spies.
Yes. I don't think they're brainwashed at all. I think there's like, say code word, someone gets Stasi'd.
That should be a thing. I want to start that trend. Everybody says that now.
I think it would
Arv,
be, yeah.
I was gonna say, Arv, with my special see real far glasses, can I see if what's his name, Bobby, is still shooting hoops?
So you're right outside the door, so you'd have to just leave the storefront, which you could do easily enough if you wanted to. Also, hi, Winchkin. You could like just walk out of the window, like of the storefront, and then look to the right if you wish and see.
Yeah, he's gonna light an American cigarette,
Okay.
and
Strike.
yeah, he's gonna look down the glasses to see if old Bobby is working on his free throws.
Well, Bobby's not working on his free throws because as you look to the right, you actually see Bobby walking right up to you. He's actually dribbling the ball a little bit, like just bouncing it slowly as he walks up in your general direction, and he comes up close and then stops and kind of nods at you, still dribbling away. Doesn't say
Hey,
anything.
Bobby.
And he nods and he says, gonna be here for long?
I don't know. I've got a job at a baseball field waiting for me, and I really like baseball.
He nods and he says, I'm sure you do. Well, I'll let you go to it then. Just be aware that, and he kind of looks around and he sort of winks at you and he says, they're always watching. I'm just letting you know. And he smiles and grins at you and kind of nods again and then dribbles and walks past you down the street.
He yells after him, "Hey, Bobby, make sure you work on those free throws, champ."
And he looks back over his shoulder and does not smile and then just keeps walking as he dribbles.
Do we know what Jonah Smith looks like?
No.
Okay.
The rest of you are
I have a
outside
question.
the room. Sure.
Do the rest of everybody in town seem to be happy? Different from his demeanor?
Yes. Well, not, but I want to not overdo that. Yeah, but it's not like Children of the Corn. Yay! It's not like.
Got it. Yeah.
It's like normal.
Okay, it's not like Stepford.
No.
Okay.
Definitely not.
But
These people do
Bobby
not
sticks
look
out.
tranced or drugged. Bobby seems more serious than them, yes. But none of them look tranced or drugged out.
Okay, they just seem to be living normal lives. Got it.
Yes, normal American lives in the middle of a forest in Berlin. But yeah, pretty much.
Like you do.
Like you do.
Yeah.
Arv, does Bobby fit the age profile for Jonas Smith?
Yep.
Would he does.
He does.
Okay.
But the thing is, there's others that do too. I mean, like you've passed, like just walking on the street, you saw 4 or 5 that would have fit his profile also.
Yeah, that's a hard deduction to make.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Are we just going about our business until we can?
Stasi. What's your name? Stacy. What is it?
Susie.
Susie.
It's my new favorite name.
It's a beautiful name. Susie. Women have the tendency when in large numbers to gossip and talk maybe outside of what they may not say on the street.
Uh-huh.
I vote that it would be beneficial for us to split. Gentlemen, go check out the male dorms. Susie and I will go and maybe chat up the local ladies.
What are we trying to get?
Anything. We have nothing. Do we even know when we leave? And ship out? The last thing we want is to be trapped on some Russian ship bound for the United States.
Right. I thought we were going to Stasi that person and look at the place where they put on Chekhov. Am I doing this right? Code, American code.
That wasn't even close.
I mean, it was accurate though. The thing is, it was accurate, Eddie.
I mean, Benjamin, our other option is to speed up the process. You could wait until nightfall and simply break into the theater.
If you talk to people, just and he moves his wrist back and forth, like showing off the watch, and then we can all participate there.
We need to get the key too from Pasek.
You could go flirt with him and get it.
Didn't he say something about a tour?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so why don't you be busy bees and we'll go on a tour?
I've got a lead I'd like to follow up on. I told Bobby that I'm a huge fan of baseball, and inside, old Yannick told us that they have baseball here. I was hoping to go find the field and see if Bobby finds me. If he does, then that might be our Jonas.
And I will go on a tour and meet everybody.
It looks like Susie and I will be gossiping.
Okay, so I've got the positions down, although I do want to point out very quickly, Damien, that the impression you got was that you had the tour, like when you were walking down and he was showing the different things.
Okay.
Not that there's like a formal tour. I'm just letting you know that.
Yeah, then he'll just go introduce himself to people.
Okay, so you're going to go introduce yourself to people. Benjamin's going to try to find the baseball field. Stasi and Vivian, you guys are going where specifically to do this gossip?
To the women's dorms.
Okay,
You said that was like a holding place or a sleeping facility for the women?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right. It is right now during the day, so you don't know how many of them will be there, but you can, I mean, it's like about 3:30 or so right now.
We'll take our time. Maybe there's a place to go shopping or...
Sure.
Like, let's,
Got the
basically
drugstore.
Vivian's going to play into the whole scene.
Okay.
I mean, acting is what she does, right?
Yep. Absolutely. Okay, so let's take this one by one. We will start with Damien. So Damien, you were going off to introduce yourself to people. Can you specify for me what? I mean, like where in specific? Because I told you some of the locations and that kind of thing.
Yeah, so he's not. So Damien's goal here is not to get information out of these people. He believes this is some kind of cell, right? That these are like sleeper agents. So he is going to introduce himself to basically every person here that we can see. I assume there's not actually 200 people here yet, but or at least all the people that were named off, right?
Yep.
And he's going to, because he wears spectacles, he's going to adjust his glasses, and when he does so, he's going to try to take a clear picture of their face.
Okay.
Because again, if these people are agents, that's a good way to tell who the hell they are.
Okay.
So yeah, he's basically just going to introduce, like, oh, I'm Eddie, I'm etc. Actually, he's going to try to get the name Gordo going here.
Okay.
Because screw that weird guy. But yeah, that's his plan. And it's like, oh, what do you do here in the town? Oh, I'm going to be working at such and such fast food place, the 1960s McDonald's, which I'm pretty sure exists as McDonald's.
Okay. Yeah, already billions and billions served.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to work. I'm going to work at In-N-Out, the first drive-through.
So he. Okay. So you're gonna. So as you're sort of walking around the town, introducing yourself, you notice that. So everyone's exceedingly friendly, and everyone seems very kind of excited, but they seem a little uncomfortable. Well, they're sort of, they don't make it clear like, what are you doing? Get out of my face. But you get the impression that there's sort of there's sort of like more formal introduction procedures, maybe, like not exactly, but that maybe in the classes or something like that. It doesn't mean that you're standing out, but it just means that you're noticing that there's something just slightly off, even though again, there's nothing that's sort of obvious about that. Also, it's Lauren's birthday. Happy birthday, Lauren! At least it's happy birthday on the East Coast. Happy birthday, Lauren. And they want to celebrate your birthday in a typically not creepy at all American way. No, so they so as you sort of find that the case, the other thing you notice is that they all sort of talk about, like when you mention the fact that you're going to be doing this particular job, they nod and they all share with you what they're going to be doing, but it's all this one specific thing. Like there's no past. There's no, oh, I used to do this. It's all like, oh yeah, I'm going to be, I'm actually going to be, I'm going to be a janitor, and I'm actually going to be working as a teacher, and I'm going to be, and you notice that there's this huge range of professions. There's, with one common element, every single profession involves the people coming in close proximity with, or in some way being able to affect lots of people, whether it's food preparation, garbage, like removal and like being able to get into everyone's office late at night when the offices are locked, etc. They're all doing that. There's no solo activities like I'm going to be a park ranger. Like there's none of that. It's all like multiple things basically. So that's, as you're sort of taking this picture, you note these sorts of things as you're going around, and I'll come back to you, Damien, a little bit later.
Okay.
Okay. Stasi and Vivian, when you are sort of wandering around and go in for shopping, you go into one place in particular, which is Flo's Salon. It's basically like a hair salon that has like shampoos and hair products in the front. And when you walk in, you see a woman in a flowered dress, and her hair is up in a bun, and she kind of sees you walk in and, well, hello, darlings. It's good to see you all. Can I give you perhaps do some kind of a hair treatment? And oh, my darling, those nails are just not going to get it done. I know it's been difficult getting here, but I should be able to fix those right up if you have a minute. And she's pointing, Stasi, at your hands and saying, I can help you out if you like. Or perhaps
sister
a bob and a
Susie,
tie for all of you.
She'd love it, wouldn't you, Susie?
And so she kind of bustles you over and sits you down, and first of all shampoos your hair. So you kind of leans your head back, shampoos the hair, stands you up, starts brings you over to the chair, starts like doing some, you don't know what she's doing, combing and like moving stuff around in the hair and like curling it and all this stuff. And she's like all this, and she's like, oh, you have such lovely, wonderful, thick hair. I really am impressed with this kind of thing. It's so hard for me. I just feel like my hair, I get a little bit of humidity and it just all frizzes out all at once. It's one of those things. I wish I could do my own hair as well as I do other people's. And so she's, very kind of talking about that. And she says, so you folks planning on being in town very long? Vivian, are you just standing nearby, by the way?
I would probably, is she the only woman working in the salon?
At the moment, yeah. It seems like you're the only two people in the salon.
I would have just taken a seat.
Okay.
If I'm sure there's a magazine or a newspaper, I would play the part.
Oh, sure. You also see that there's rows of chairs that have those hair dryers, that like go over the top, like the big,
I'll
alien
sit in one of
style.
Those, my magazine.
And so she says, so you folks gonna be here for a while?
We will be here long enough for training.
And she nods. She says, oh, training. That's pretty big words, pretty heady stuff, I guess. But I hope that your training goes well. Part of it, of course, is just learning to act natural. You know what I mean, dear? Acting natural.
Of course. Those Americans, right?
And
Us Americans.
Us Americans.
Yes, that's right.
Sorry, it's a joke I like to tell, just between us ladies.
She's like, I understand. You need to realize, of course, that some of these jokes are funny, especially from, American women. They sometimes don't get treated as seriously as perhaps they might. But funny thing is, you make those jokes, sometimes people kind of take them the wrong way. You want to make sure that you make a joke, but at the same time, you make it for a reason. You always want to be listening to the answer, You can get a lot of people from their sense of humor.
Yes. Do you have any jokes?
And she laughs. She says, oh, I've got all kinds of them. Like, for example, and she sort of smiles as she says, you understand why I decided to go into the hair gutting business?
I don't.
It was a shortcut to my career. And she smiles at you.
Right
yeah.
there, yes.
Your head, by the way, your hair feels very odd and stiff at this point, Stasi. Like you don't know what's
my hair.
You don't know
Arvin.
what's being done, but like it's like she's putting it up in this thing and whatever. Like
You look fabulous, Susie.
You probably do. And she says, well, that's just going to take a little bit of time to dry, but we'll just sort of let you sit there and kind of let that sit there for a spell. And she kind of, as you look in the mirror, she kind of spins you around so you can now see. You see that you've got classic beehive haircut, like this little pow beehive. And she's just like, that's all the rage right now. Best kind of fashion,
I I wish my hair was thick enough to even do that, Susie.
She says, well, I can understand why that would be difficult for you, but, you'll get that taken care of. Anything that needs to be changed on you will be. What job you got planned for yourself? She says to you, Vivian.
Oh, the life of an entertainer.
Oh, she says, I understand. You're going to be perhaps acting in front of people, something like that.
Perhaps. And I try to like hide my face, wondering if she'll actually notice that, I might have actually already done this before.
Right, and she's kind of like, I see. She's like, well, I imagine it'll be right. Well, I mean, you're such a pretty thing. I imagine that whatever you do in entertainment will work really well. And now, of course, and what was your name, sweetheart? And she's now saying this to you, Stasi.
Susie.
Susie, I'm sure now, Susie, that I've fixed you right up. You can look just as good as your friend over there. What's your name there, miss?
No, it's fine. I take it as a compliment. I don't know why you're laughing.
Oh, this is Susie is your name?
No,
No, she asked you. She did ask Susie.
Oh, I thought she asked Susie. Oh, I'm Gloria.
She says, yes, Gloria. Well, Susie, now that I've fixed you up, you look just like Gloria over here. I mean, not just like, but just as beautiful. You had such potential. I could just sort of feel it there. Now that potential's been, unleashed, you might say, sort of released for everyone else. And she smiles and she says, yes, I think you're going to fit in real well here. Okay, I'm going to pause you guys for a second. I'm going to jump over to Benjamin. Benjamin, you wander through the streets, and as you wander back, you do finally find, actually behind the basketball court, there seems to be a field set up. And as you sort of get back onto the field, you can see what looks more or less like kind of a half, like an infield, and then a diamond, although it doesn't go out all the way. Like it only goes out maybe, I don't know, 100 feet. Looks more like a little league field, really, if anything. And you can see that there's no one sitting on the field at the moment, but there are some baseball bats and baseballs and some gloves that are lying there by first base as you walk onto the field.
Okay, is there a cage stop? Or like is behind
Yep,
the
there is a cage stop.
Okay, so what he's going to do is he's going to take the balls, if there's a bucket of them or whatever, and he's going to take a bat and he's going to start flipping them in the air and just cracking shots into the back of the cage stop as loud as he can. I mean, he's going for like loose grip on the bat.
Yep.
Making the crack sound whenever it comes through. He wants to be able to, if this is a foreign sound to people, he wants to make people look like, what is that constant, pounding or whatever. But yeah, he's going to go ahead and do that and just go pick up the balls and bring them back up to the pitcher's mound, hitting everything kind of back reverse order, pitcher's mound to plate, so he can catch them all in the backstop there.
Okay, so you do that, crack of the bat as you're doing this, catching them, and there's kind of a gentle breeze. It feels for a minute, you could almost imagine yourself, if you closed your eyes, like sort of losing yourself a little bit in perhaps, times of your childhood. And then as you sort of hit it again, you hear a voice behind you saying, well, now, you swing that bat awfully well. And there's sort of a long pause, and he says, it's almost as if you've done this before. It's almost as if you prepared to do this your whole life. It's almost as if you're too perfect. Isn't that fair to say, Charles?
Too perfect? I don't think anybody's too perfect, except for my favorite baseball player, Joe DiMaggio. Joe is the best. Joltin' Joe.
Have you turned around so far? You're just still facing away, right?
No, he's not even looked yet.
Okay. He says, yeah, Joe DiMaggio is the best. And what's that song? He says, Joe can do it. Joe can do it. Anyone else, we know that Joe can do it. And then you hear a ch-ch. I'm going to ask just how much you can do before we leave this field, Charles. Now pause. Vivian and Stasi in the barbershop, in the salon. She's still laughing and smiling and kind of joking with you. And at one point she says, it's a funny thing about these new people that come in here. We come from all walks of life, all different places, all so that we can come here and learn to be as American as we can be. And yet it's like you two have already got it down. Like, I don't even know why they bother training you. You all just seem just well suited for this, like you was born to it or something.
American as apple pie.
She says, I know. American as apple pie. And maybe more American than we planned for anyone who was coming here in the first place. And you hear a chick. And standing in the door, you see two men in suits peering in at you, Vivian and Stasi. And Damien, as you are talking to one of the people in the front of the store, basically you were talking about taking pictures of everybody, right? So you were kind of going around from place to place. You've been taking pictures of, you just were talking to the guy who runs what sounds like Doc's General Store, the guy who was sweeping before. And he's sort of chatting back and forth with you. And then you notice as you do the thing with his glasses, he puts his hand on top of his broom and he puts his chin on top of his hands and he looks at you and he says, you know, how's your vision, son? You nearsighted, farsighted?
I'm farsighted.
He says, I figured as much. You know, you go back and try to fiddle with those glasses quite a bit. It's the kind of thing that I notice, you know. People who wear glasses all the time, they might fiddle with them a little bit, but not the same way. Most of the time, they try to eventually forget about it. But not you. You seem to be real interested in those glasses of yours. Makes me wonder why.
To be honest, they're new.
He says, oh, I'll bet they are. New and American manufacture. And you hear a chick from behind you. And
that's what I'm told.
Standing behind you is Mr. Jonathan, John Peterson. He's standing there, and he's holding a gun pointed at you, and he says, yep, I agree, Doc. American made. And I'd like to find out just where in America he made them. And that's where we are going to stop the session for tonight. With a split party and everyone a different spot. No, not completely split party. But we are going to, that is part one, folks, of the Carriers. Quick note before they talk. Oh my God, you guys did such a great job. This is awesome. Now, having said that, it was fun to see you guys work through this, and you will see part two of this down the line. And I'm going to start, as I usually do on the other end of the line, I will start with Mike. Mike, great stuff today, man. You immediately got invested into it and really sort of fit right in. So well done. I expected no different. How did you feel about things, and where will the fine people be able to see you before they see you next month?
This was fun. I had recently played a Cyber Systems spy game, so I was kind of prepared for this. I've never seen, heard of, or played this system before, but it's fairly intuitive. I like that. It's narratively driven, because that's kind of my jam. This was fun. I liked not knowing. Like, I didn't watch the previous episode because I was like, my character's not going to know anything. And then I just played it that way, that you guys had your own thing going on. And I had no idea. So yeah, that was super fun. And I've been taking notes and writing a backstory the whole time. Like, oh, that's a good idea. Great job. But yeah, this is a blast. You guys are awesome. The characters are awesome. Arv, thank you for having me on the channel. And if you guys want to see more of me, you can see me Mondays on Encounter Roleplay and the rest of the week, starting in September. We're taking a huge break for the month of August. I'll be away from military training, but we have a bunch of new shows coming back in September and running to the end of the year. And you'll see some more Greg there as well.
Awesome stuff. Good stuff, man, and very glad to have you on the crew. Welcome in. Chelsea, great stuff from you as well, also, as always. I really enjoyed sort of seeing Vivian kind of tie in. I like the idea of immediately enter gossip mode.
She's like, I'm not really great at anything, but I'm really good at being a woman. So.
Yeah, exactly. It was fun to sort of see you dealing with Americana, like, at all costs in front of you. So same question to you. How did you feel? Where will folks be able to see you before next month?
No, of course. I was very excited that we booted this back up. I mean, the one game we played, I had such a blast. Not only with this character, but just like in general with this this game. And I too, just like Greg said, have been talking it up to people. Actually, I just got done beta testing something else that had to do with like timelines and things and the way of like laying out missions, and I actually suggested that they go check this game out in terms of like the way that this moves through. Like I just love it. I think it's really cool because, you know, a lot of the times I think in our RPG tables we spend a lot of time like plotting and planning, but it slows things down, not like actually helps story.
Right.
But the way this is created, it's like actually backwards from that, I think.
Right.
So anyways, I just love it, and I've been suggesting a lot of people need to check it out. So I'm excited to be back here. I'm excited Vivian got to come back out today, though Vivian did not make a single roll.
It's true. Did not have any risks that were taken yet.
I was about to say, yeah, she didn't take any risk. Vivian knows when to take her risk.
Yeah, trust me, part 2 is going to have a lot. I think it's going to have a lot of Vivian time.
I was about to say,
Yeah.
Vivian today was just like, we're just gonna play it by ear. I'm just rolling with the punches.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. If you want to find me online, you can do so on pretty much all the social medias under little underscore red underscore dot. I'm there mostly on Twitter. You can find my weekly schedule that I keep posted, along with a link to my personal Discord where we chat nerdy all week. So you can check me out there. I played a lot of tabletop RPGs. Mondays I am in a Princess of Apocalypse campaign. Wednesdays you can check me out on the North by Northwest podcast. I DM Thursdays over on Encounter Roleplays channel. Saturdays, I'm now part of the Roll For It crew. We are playing through World of Darkness and have a very exciting announcement that we'll be making as of tomorrow.
Wow.
About what's next up for that World of Darkness campaign. So you should keep your ear to the ground on that. Of course, I'm doing this now on Fridays, and then I sporadically do Sunday Fun Days on my own channel where we play high fantasy, ridiculous, one-off D&D games. So yeah, that's me. Like I said, lots of tabletop, but follow me, check me out. I support a lot of other like channels and streams, and I just love playing with other people. So you'll see me around a lot of places.
Thank you, Chelsea. It's good stuff. Yeah, I man, all these people are just like, we're all the hardest working people in show business. Like, good God, like I play in 400 different campaigns, 3,000 hours a week. Like, Jesus, like these guys are work hard at their craft. But it was a pleasure. Thank you, Chelsea, and I look forward to seeing more as time goes on. Moving right on down the line, Lauren, we did get some stuff out of you. I mean, like Stasi had a chance to do, you know, boot dagger to the neck. Plus, you know, there was
I've ever wanted.
There was Stasi time, and also beehive haircut time, which you didn't want. But that's
No!
Americana at all costs. How did you feel about stuff where
Happy birthday, by the way.
And happy
Oh, thank
birthday,
you.
yes.
Thank you. I love this game. I love my character so much. I just love her, and I really enjoy the system so much, and I'm excited. I'm so mad that we have to end, but it's fine. It's fine. Whatever. Do it next time.
Yeah, I had to. Yeah.
Destroy everybody. Yeah, I love it. Places that you can find me on the internet. I am That Salty Ginger over on Twitter, where I post things that I do during the week. This weekend, my birthday weekend, I'm streaming like all the way until Monday afternoon, because that's what I like to do with my friends. So tomorrow I am running Call of Cthulhu for the first time, doing a one-shot over on Scraticus's channel at noon Eastern, twitch.tv/Scraticus. So that's gonna be fun, because
Nice.
I love that system. And then Saturday evening, I play in a high-level D&D 5e campaign with Greg over on the Greyhawk channel. That's at 9 Eastern. I play a bard whom I love with all my heart. And then on what is on Sundays is Project Athena, Pulp Cthulhu on Greg's channel, twitch.tv/Grimjack21502. And that is at 7 Eastern. And that's our long-running Pulp Cthulhu campaign, which you should really check out, because we just walked into like purple nowhere after barely getting away from, you know, horrible, powerful Nazis. So it's all calm and chill. And then on Monday, I am on Encounter Roleplay at 1 p.m. Eastern, playing some very lighthearted D&D 5e. So that's what I do.
Good stuff.
Birthday times.
Good stuff. Happy birthday. The fact that just like the words long-running Cthulhu campaign don't necessarily like, you know, Cthulhu campaigns, death, lots of insanity.
No.
You know,
No.
yeah.
I'm in denial. I'm in a heavy state of denial.
No, I mean, that's fine. I'm sure that's totally fine. But thank you, Lauren. Great stuff, and I look forward to seeing more from you very soon as well. And last but certainly not least, Greg, as always, again, wonderful stuff from you too. Benjamin had I would say, a fairly eventful session with things that had to be done, shade style. And I love the image. It's funny, you were even wearing like the Newsboys cap, so I just was like, Field of Dreams, like Buddy in East Berlin, like just, so it was fun to watch that happen. But same question, how'd you feel, and where can the fine people see you?
I love this game. I love the setting. You weave a fantastic. Speaking, the baseball field was my favorite scene, just for your color of it, where the wind catches. And I was thinking Field of Dreams. You could have been a Nebraska cornfield that was converted into it. And I love that, man. Great imagery. Immersion was there. I love playing this particular 60s spy. You got me there. You don't have to go any further. You want to be a 60s spy? Yes, I don't care what we're doing. Yes. I love all the characters. I love seeing where they go. I love that we have somebody that will murder indiscriminately and then fold people into a European the thought of how really horrific that is.
That is, yeah.
It's like Transformer sound, like so bad.
What?
Like, oh.
No, it's totally normal.
And I love that Stassi does not. There's no hesitation.
Oh no.
Right.
No,
And you know what? Everybody needs that type of that type of character that kind of makes the other more civilized characters work, until you realize the other characters accept it and they're just as bad because they allow it.
Yeah.
So
they're enabling.
Right, I do. I love the characters. I love everything. It's a great story. Can't wait to play some more of it. The story's just fantastic. Anyway, Grimjack21502 on the Twitches and the Twitters. You can find me at the following places. Tomorrow on my channel from 2 to 4, I will be running Pulp Cthulhu's Project Chronos. And then tomorrow night on the Greyhawk channel from 9 to whenever, I will be running the campaign that Lauren spoke of, little D&D 5e, Valley of Soot and Skull on the Greyhawk channel. And then the next day, Sunday from 7 to 9, Pulp Cthulhu again on my channel for Project Athena. And then we go over to Encounter Roleplay on Mondays from 4:30 to 7:30, where I'm running Call of Cthulhu's Atomic Cthulhu. And then on Tuesdays, Tomes and Tentacles podcast comes out. And then on Tuesday evenings, I play over at WebDM some Starward Bound Spelljammer 5e from 7 to 10. And then on Wednesdays from 1 to 4, I play Call of Cthulhu over on Encounter Roleplay. And yeah, and then Fridays on my channel from 12 to 2, Conan Age Undreamed Of, 2 to 4, Firefly, and I'm done.
Yeah, that's great stuff. I want to mention two things. First of all, I echo everyone's feelings about the system. One of the interesting things tonight is that, unlike the first time, where you had a much more clearly defined set of things you were going through earlier on, you had to roll with the punches a bit more with this, and so that's why things get a bit more spread out. But I think that's what makes it fun. I had assumed that I might have to make it into a two-parter depending on how things went, and so that is indeed the case, but that's fine. I do want to mention that there is a decent chance, folks in chat, that we might see these people in a live environment soon. That is possible. I'm not guaranteeing it, but if you happen to be in the American Midwest, say the first weekend of August, in a place where that rhymes with Bindia Babylis, it's possible that there may be a live event happening that we may talk about more. But I really could not be more pleased with how well this has gone so far. So yes, thank you to the system, but especially thank you to the players, which makes it work as well as it possibly does. Please check out these people individually. They really are all wonderful people, and they play so many goddamn games, and somehow keep it all straight in their head. And it's really impressive. So you guys did a great job, and I cannot wait for the next session. This is going to be a great time. So I will let them go. Thank you so much to Grimjack. Thank you so much to That Salty Ginger. Thank you so much to Little Red Dot. Thank you so much to Unmade Gaming, by which I mean Greg, Lauren, Chelsea, and Mike. You guys are great. And chat, can we get some love for them? And I will see all of you wonderful people, maybe live, but next month regardless. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. All right, there they go. All right, that was good times, folks. Man, I really enjoy this system. It is really interesting to me how over time, more of the narrative stuff, because I grew up as a D&D kid, right? So that was my bag. That was what I was doing, was D&D. Over time, well, actually, let me make one quick note. That's weird because it's got the Patreon manager. This overlay, again, thank you to Chaotix. Chaotix did this overlay and did a great job. And thank you to Kilobyte for the adjusted video as well. So I wanted to make that clear. Before we left the overlay behind, super great job. Thank you so much, Chaotix. You are the man. Thank you so much. Okay, wait, what? No. There we go. This is what happens when I forget to turn off the video sound. I was like, what is going on? Stop. Okay, sorry. You will be hearing that again, but not quite yet. But anyway, but it's cool for me as someone who, obviously has my main experience with D&D when I first got started. As I've been exposed to more of these systems, I don't like systems just for the sake of systems, but I love it when systems facilitate role-playing. And this system does that. It's a very light system, and it's not a system that works for everybody. If you wanted to play this for... I think it's weird because it is a very simple system. Like, literally, the rule set... Like, this is the PDF, which you can get for, like, $3. It's... how many pages is this? It's, like, 16 pages. 16 pages. This is very, very small, right? Very, thin volume. However, it's deceptive because although it is very simple, it relies a great deal on the players in question. It relies on their chemistry, and it relies on their ability to sort of work with each other and understand what's going on, and to be able to get out of each other's way at the right time. So whereas D&D has sort of the mechanical qualities that can kind of hold some of that stuff in check, this game is basically role-playing without a net. Like, there's some of it in which you have to be willing to work with people around you, and you've got to stick with your character, but also stick as part of a team and everything else. I am the one who basically has created it where I'm basically using a lot of Mission Impossible inspirations to make it happen, because I love Mission Impossible and because, like, this just fits so well. But the idea of what the players are able to do is a big part of this. And so if you folks are watching this and thinking this looks interesting, you're right, it is. But be aware that it definitely requires a group of players that are not, it doesn't even require players that are super experienced with role-playing. It just requires them to be sort of very open to each other, willing to sort of be vulnerable, and being willing to sort of be connected with each other in a way. And they need to be willing to do that. And especially like a pickup crew, people that have never met each other or sort of played with each other before, I think that would be harder. So I think this does really help if you have a group of people that have worked together, friends that have worked together before. That's where it works the best. No, the game system is called Wilderness of Mirrors. I'll actually show you. It's called Wilderness of Mirrors. It's by John Wick. It came out about 8-9 years ago. I am calling this Assignment Unpossible, this series. And the Assignment Unpossible series is partially because of the story that we're telling, because of the Mission Impossible connection, but we're also doing it because it is modified. So this is not completely Wilderness of Mirrors. I've made some adjustments to it, but it's very similar, basically, to what's going on in Wilderness of Mirrors. So this is the inspiration, and then I modify it a bit to come up with what we have with Assignment Impossible. So, but it's awesome. I love it, and I can't wait to play it again. It's going to be fun. But that is going to be happening, as I said, next month. Possibly live. But anyway, keep focused on my Twitters and my Discords and stuff like that for more details about that. Now, schedule-wise, just a quick note to everybody. This is going to do it for me for this evening, but I will be back, of course, tomorrow night for day 2 of the Curse of Strahd. We'll be returning to D&D, and we'll be returning to the land of Barovia, where 4 out of the 5 of them, Don Cairo will not be with us, but we will have Trendane, we will have Saad, we will have John, and we will have Rob. All of those 4 gentlemen will be dealing with this strange house that they found themselves in after they entered the land of Barovia. And so we'll be doing more of that with them. That should be a great time. That's happening again tomorrow, and it will be starting at 7 p.m. Eastern. And then I will be back again after that on the following Tuesday for a couple of things to keep in mind. First of all, Tuesday, we will have during the day, Tuesday, this is going to be what, the 24th, right? So we will have a Dragon Spear is going to be super pumped up. Red Alert 2. So at 12 p.m. Eastern, we will have Red Alert 2. Then at 4 p.m., we will have Pen and Pixels and Battletech. And then at 8 p.m., I want to make clear that at 8 p.m. next Tuesday, we have Arvanaut Idol 3. We have Arvanaut Idol semifinals. And again, that will have the 5 people that are involved in that group are going to be, just as a reminder for everyone, we've got Marinda, we've got Dragon Spear, we've got Fleos, Rala Song, and Geronimo 403. They will be here at, again, that'll be 8 p.m. Tuesday the 24th is Arvanaut Idol 3. So definitely make sure that you've got that going on. So, and then, of course, next Friday, so a week from today, is session 2 of the month, anyway, of Esper Genesis. And that is going well also. So it's just like, there's a lot of good stuff going on. I'm having a great time with all of it. Gen Con is going to be big for me. There's a lot of stuff going on. I have meetings and a bunch of stuff that I can't talk about. Anyone who's been following my Twitter knows that there has been discussion of game stuff that's related to a world that I've made and other things that I can't talk about yet, but I'm so excited to talk about this stuff when it comes up. When I get back from Gen Con, a lot of announcements will able to be made, so I'm really excited about that, and I can't wait. I'm very happy about the direction of that. I'm very happy about the direction of the channel, and the way that you can support the channel to continue that going, which is really important, is to do the various things that I mentioned, and that is, please follow the channel if you haven't done so already. Please check out my YouTube with !ArvTube. Please make sure to check out the Discord with !ArvCord. That is blowing up, so please make sure that you check out the Discord. Please make sure to check out the Twitter with !ArvTweets. Fair warning, there's a fair bit of political stuff going on over there these days, because there's a fair bit of political stuff in life going on. So make sure that you head over there to check that out, and follow me over there. I always tweet when I go live over there. Arv Shop will get you to my merchandise area where you can actually get stuff for the Infinity and Beyond crew, with the cool logos and stuff. That's also going to be expanded soon to include Esper Genesis and possibly also this game, Assignment Unpossible. So there's going to be more stuff going over on the shop. That's the way that you can support the channel and also get real cool, classy, fashionable stuff too. !Arv Treon will allow you to support this. We want to get that past 400 again. We're at 383.96. We want to continue to move that up in the positive direction. And last but certainly not least, of course, is that sub button. Thank you for those of you who resubbed. We had a couple of people resub today, including Hillness, who resubbed at the tier 3 level. So thank you so much, Hillness. That's above and beyond the Call of Duty. And thank you. It's really great. And thank you to all of you who continue to watch and make this a part of your day, because I really do appreciate it. Yes, the ways that you can support the stream in terms of the raid, which we're going to do right now, is like this. We are going to go raid someone. We're going to do it like this. Maybe. Although, why is that not? Oh, there we go. There it is. I was like, wait, what? It was just a little slow. So the Arvanauts have landed, followed by Twitch raid. That's lowercase Twitch, uppercase raid. And then we've got this, which is, if you were a sub, then you do the Arvanauts have landed, followed by Arvane Ipe, ARVANE, lowercase uppercase H, lowercase YPE, and that's what you do if you are a sub. But the key is not to do this until you hear my audio outro. Then when you hear my audio outro, you can let that all flow like a mighty stream, which would, of course, be much appreciated. All right, let's see who we've got here that I can check out. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Let's see who we've got over here. Hold on one second. There's that. Oh, I already, okay. Okay, I know who it's going to be. I know who we're going to raid. So the key is to wait until you hear my audio outro. Once you hear my audio outro, then you can let this, as I say, drop like a mighty stream. I'm just going to quickly pull up the thing so I know what we're looking at. I don't know why I'm not seeing. The heck, why am I not? Why is the person that I want to... Okay, I don't know why that wasn't listed. Anyway, but we're good. We're all fine. So like a mighty stream. Well, this is a mighty stream, Marinda, okay? But the key is not to do this till you hear my audio outro. Thank you to all of you who made this an awesome stream tonight. I hope you enjoyed Assignment Unpossible as much as I did. Thank you to my wonderful mods, Dragon Spear and Shadowed Mage, who are super awesome. Thank you to my wonderful subs, Dragon Spear and Shadowed Mage and Marinda and Rock God. Thank you also to my Patreon supporters as well, who don't show up on the list but are really, really important. You guys are all awesome. Thank you to my viewers. Thank you to IAK Enforcer. Thank you to Axeman. Thank you to Bissy. I know you just followed Bissy. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I hope you can support the channel in the ways that I've mentioned previously with the Patreon and subs and all that down the line. But thank you so much for being here. Thank you to Celestian. Thank you to Cog Whistle, to Commander Root, Dota Feeding, Dragon Shadow Priest. Thank you to ECAG, Electrical Longboard, JLC, Kiana. Thank you to King Jin. Thank you to Likes the Villain. Is that true? Likes the Villain. I feel like I've seen that name before. If so, welcome back. But if not, I'm not 100% sure. So then welcome in if you have not been here before. I hope you like what you saw and heard, and will follow and support if you can. Thank you to Mattman Gaming. Thank you to Nonstop, Poltergeist Zero, Rala Song, Slow Cool, TNS Mephiston, Tobik, you Christensen, and of course, Uncle Elias. You folks are all awesome. I love you all. You are the best. Now, we are going to go over here to raid. Again, do not do this until you hear my audio outro. We are going to go over to IAK Enforcer stream. We're going to go over to IAK. Please make sure to check out his channel and to do the raid. After that, you can go to the 4 wins if you want, but please go over and raid his channel. He's playing a little Rocket League as soon as you hear my audio outro, by which I mean as soon as you start seeing the video outro. Go from there. That's it for me. Love you all. The best viewers on Twitch, and I will see all of you wonderful people Saturday evening for day 2 of Curse of Strahd with Infinity and Beyond. Until then, everyone be good to each other.